kid. Whatever. Tired of it. Alright, I'm gonna put my shoe on. Mine said, you need a break from your kid. I'm like, you think? I've been around her 24 hours a day for the past year. What do you think? Full screen here. Like I said, I'm not even gonna bother recording with OBS because there's no promise it's even gonna work. I mean, I can, but like I told, I mean, I'm just gonna record. See, it's not even not even anything on my desktop now. God damn it. Well, he's gonna record too, so I mean, I'm recording, but like I told him, like I told you, there's no promise it's gonna pick up you. I mean, if I play a YouTube video, it's picking it up just fine, but it's not picking up you, which makes no sense. It's the desktop. It's like, ugh. Should get my other headphones here. Let me grab my other headphones. Like I don't know if I can hear you. Say something. Yeah, hold on, Mike. What? Oh, maybe if I put the right headphones on. Like, why can't I hear? There we go. Those other ones are too big with the hat and the wig and everything, and I'm like, it's just gonna fall off my head. I got looking around. I actually have about 6 or 7 wigs around here now. Maybe even more. Well, I bought one for the Frost video, the Saw video, and my friend Olivia wore that. I bought one when I was Juliet Starling, when I dressed up as the cheerleader. And then I have a whole bunch from other Halloweens and shit. It's just like, you get hell pretty soon. If somebody were to go through all my shit, they're gonna be like, did he like to dress and drag a lot? Like, yeah, just say that Jay is out, and then we have a special, and then I'll come in and you can just ask me whatever the hell you want, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll be like, I'm into video games too. So
what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Junction podcast. Fortunately, we had some people out today feeling under the weather. That weather change got some folks sick. Our special guest Jay Malone's out. We got a nice little feeling with old Mr. Hulk Hogan over here, though. Mr. Hulk, how you doing today?
what's happening, brother? I'm so glad to be here with you guys. This is wonderful. Can't wait to be on this Game Junction podcast. So, do I have to have an iPod? You know, I'm an older guy, so I don't know. Do I have to have an iPod to be on a podcast? I just don't know.
No iPod necessary.
Fantastic. Let's do this.
You looking a little baby face there, brother.
Yeah, well, me and my girlfriend, we went over to Texas here a few weeks ago, and they got some good barbecue over there, and that stuff just stuck to my goatee, so I had to shave it all off. We're gonna grow it all back in. Man, I'll tell you what, there ain't nothing like driving down the highway. You just, all of a sudden you just kind of go, let's go barbecue with my beard. Oh
Tasting the
damn!
barbecue.
So I had to shave that off. Had to shave it off. So yeah. I'm looking a little baby face, not looking my almost 70-year-old self tonight, but hey, we do what you gotta do. Let's just do this. That's right.
Nice. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. Well, we'd
Thanks,
like to
brother.
say
Good to be here.
anybody watching at this moment, please give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, whichever one you're watching on. Drop it. Just drop it for us. Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like a hot potato, brother. I'm telling you, if you don't comment on this, I might have to come over there and my 4-inch pythons will have to come over there and kick you in the... I'll just shut up now.
All the 4 inches. All
Well,
the 4 inches.
you do with what you got. You do with what you got. So yeah. Where's your other cohort? Where's Brandon? Where's Mark? Where's that little skinny guy with all the Nintendo games?
See, the weather got him. The weather got Brandon. He's feeling under it as well, just like Jay. I think him and Jay might have been doing little smoochies in the background over there at Torg and got each other sick.
Well, I saw some videos over there. They were acting, a little kind of funny there, but they're both, hell of nice guys, both of them, and maybe one of these days I'll get to actually meet them in person. But it is what it is, right, brother? It is what it is.
He's gonna have a game to sign if you meet him in person.
Absolutely. And if he has one of the WWE games there, I'll sign that for him too. Be like, fake Hulk Hogan. There you go, brother. There you go.
Fake Hulk. Nice. What's going on, Tim? We got a couple folks in the chat already. Tim says, hey there, muscles. And he did share it on Facebook. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate that.
We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you all the way back to Florida and back. That's right, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got a little bit in the news today. I'm going to start off with a little Sonic Frontiers news. So apparently the hype has been real for it, and it is breaking all kind of records on Steam. It's had the most fan base playing the game since any Sonic game, apparently.
Yeah, I was actually checking that out. Our GT85, he was actually showing that one night. And, I love that guy. I love watching him. Love his channel. And he was playing that. And I was also watching Mad Little Pixel have it on one night. And I was like, wow, this is actually a really good-looking game. And I was a little confused because it was so open world. And then...
Not
and then
so linear.
Compartmentalized. No, and then you get to some of the parts where it is linear. It is that... that kind of 2D experience, and also that 3D experience as well. They got a lot going on in one game, and it's good to see Sonic come back with an actual solid game as opposed to the stuff they've been putting out the last couple years. They've been trying, but, Sonic ain't like Mario. Sonic always has to try a lot harder. Mario can just come around, crap out a game, and it's great, because, that's how Nintendo is. But, I know Team Sonic, they try their ass off. Sometimes they don't hit it. Sometimes they hit it big, and I think
it seems like a lot of stuff they did with the Sonic here in the past, or in the recent past, anyways, just really been trying to rehash the old Sonic. With the Sonic Mania, they really just gave you a new age version of the old Sonic. Like they didn't really try to do anything else with it.
Yeah, it looked the same. I actually got my daughter. She got me that for my birthday one year. Got that cheap statue. And, got the download code. I was sitting there messing around. I'm like, this reminds me of the day when Randy Macho Man Savage and I used to play this, on the old Genesis when we would be going around the country and touring and stuff. And I'll tell you what, it kind of reminded me of that. It looked like it. It felt like it. And it was nice to go old school, but at the same time, it was just old school.
Right.
So this time I think that they're stepping it up. They're doing something a little different.
Genesis.
Oh, yeah, baby, I love that shirt. That's right up my alley. That's right up my... I got the old Hulk. I mean, I'm not going to rip it tonight.
Nah, come on. You got to rip it off by the end of the show.
Maybe by the end of the show. Show you the hair on my chest.
And apparently there has been a rumor leaked that there's going to be a Transformers MMO game coming out. It hasn't really had a lot of talk about it other than the name Transformers Rise and the developer. a certain affinity apparently as a
Well,
developer on that one. So I'm interested in
some
that.
of the some of the Transformers games were pretty cool, and some of them were not so good.
A lot of them
I
weren't so
remember
good.
that Transformers Devastation. That was a pretty damn good game, especially since they had a lot of the old school characters in there and a lot of the old school actors playing those characters. And I thought that was pretty darn good. But yeah, some of them were kind of clunky, I thought. But so as long as it's not going to be the Battlegrounds game, that's pretty much the same like that WWE Battlegrounds. Who plays that, right? I mean, yeah, I'm in the game, but I don't play it. So nobody plays that stuff.
They got
But,
fake Hulk
yeah,
in that
I don't-
game.
They do have fake Hulk in that game, yeah,
Nice.
and no mustache either, so it's not too
Sweet.
bad.
Babyface Hulk. That's the babyface.
Now, did they say whether or not? Because I did not see this story. Did they say whether or not they were going to be using new characters, new voices, or they're going to be using classic voices, classic characters?
Just a rumored leak that it is coming.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to having a look at that.
Rumored
then,
leak.
Leak, kind of like plandemic.
Exactly. Oh, hey, by the way, guys, tell some people this is coming out soon.
Yeah, hey, leave this in a bar someplace like the iPhone 4.
Hey, speaking of iPhone 4, I got one of those still.
Does it work?
It does. I don't use it, but it works.
I actually have an iPhone 2 and I have an iPhone 3GS here, and believe it or not, they actually still turn on and work. They're slow as hell.
Oh, of course.
But they work.
I mean, you can still get the PS Vita that's got the 3G service and get service and add your cell phone service to that.
I don't even know if mine is a 3G or not. I'll have to have a look.
Gotta love those
I
Vitas,
bought
man.
mine used a couple years ago. Yeah, I love my Vita. And
Speaking
I love
of
that they're
Vita-
still bringing out stuff for the Vita.
Unintentional segue here, but I did read a headline the other day about somebody recorded a concert with a Vita. So they actually took their Vita to a concert in London and recorded this rapper on stage with their Vita. I'm like, hey, do what you got to do.
That's all they had?
I guess. I mean, it is London, so you never know. I mean, I would imagine they had decent phones, but maybe you just wanted that Vita picture. I mean, you seen like YouTube videos where they take the Game Boy camera and they stick this huge ass lens on it. They do like shots of the cityscapes on their Game Boy camera, and then they'll print it off on the Game Boy printer. Those things are cool as shit.
Yeah, those printers are pretty cool, but don't you have to use the actual paper that the Nintendo made at that time for those?
So it's actually just
I mean,
a
I bet
thermal
that shit's
paper.
getting pretty scarce.
No, it's a thermal paper. You can.
Is
It's
it?
just like kind of a receipt paper. Yeah, I've got some up here. You can buy like the little rolls on Amazon that actually fit it, and they just pop in there and it'll print out with it.
Well, hell, that'd be better than having a Polaroid, I think.
Yeah.
Get some nude pictures of some good,
Well, that's why I always love
Whatever you
finding the
want
Game Boy
there.
cameras in the wild because, it saves all the pictures that people take on them, and nobody ever goes and erases that shit. So if you find one of those Game Boy cameras, you pop that thing in your Game Boy, you can actually look through whatever pictures they took.
That could be kinky. You never know.
You could run across some shit you might not want to see.
Like, hey,
I
look,
know
there's my
I know
girlfriend.
pictures that I would have took of that as a child if I had it, and I don't think people need to see some shit.
Yeah, I would have taken some pictures of my dog's behind. And
I was
said,
about to
"Hey,
say, I
look
wonder what my
at this."
butthole looks like. Click. Oh, there it is.
Well, you've been in the business long enough, eventually somebody's going to take pictures of your butthole anyway. So anyway,
Oh.
I know I've been there.
So apparently Razer has released a version of the PS5 controller that has offset sticks like an Xbox controller, but it is actually specifically for the PS5, and they're calling it the Wolverine controller, and it's $250 fucking dollars.
Well, I may be a millionaire, but damn, that's a lot of money to pay for a controller, don't you think? Unless you're a
pro
real
controller.
big enthusiast. Yeah, pro controller.
Right.
Most pros are going to use a corded controller anyway. They're not going to use a wireless
No
controller
latency.
unless you're able to plug that cable in and it turns it into a corded controller. Because I got some of those out there because I'm a pro gamer.
Me. So to
I
have
don't know.
have an actual PlayStation controller with the sticks offset to me is strange.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother. Whenever I'm playing PlayStation, I got those two sticks right there. Kind of like I'm thumb wrestling with myself. You know what I'm saying? My hands are big anyway. But then when I get my hands on that Xbox controller, I know that I'm playing with something completely different. And I like the differentiation. So I don't think I would want to have my PS5 controller with that Xbox thing going on, because you'd be like, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I playing?
Right, exactly. It's just like switching, like going and playing Nintendo, where the select button is A instead of what would typically be X on PlayStation, or I guess it is A on Xbox, but the lower button, like when you play on Nintendo, it's the side button to select and the lower button deselect. So I always have, anytime I switch between consoles like that, I always have to get used to that. I couldn't imagine having a PlayStation 5 controller that's set up like an Xbox controller.
And back in the 90s, I didn't have a problem picking up an SNES controller and going, okay, B, A, this is backwards, X, Y, that's backwards. But now, I'm playing my Xbox and my PS4. I don't have a PS5 yet. And then I'm sitting here playing these all the time. And then whenever I go to, pick up a Switch controller or something like that, I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Yep. They changed it. They changed it on me. I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird.
And what else is going on?
Oh, so Hogwarts Legacy. Apparently there's been a 20-minute trailer drop on that. We'll have a link in the comments, link in the comments on the YouTube video on this one. 20-minute video of actual gameplay and them talking about it and walking through different areas of the game, talking about combat. It looks freaking amazing. Like, I'm pretty stoked for it, actually, even though it's way too late.
Yeah, and considering they've been having all this political stuff going on with, J.K. Rowling and everything like that, I support the lady. Her opinion's her opinion, and that's okay, because just like when we were talking about buttholes earlier, everybody's got a butthole, everybody's got an opinion, and an opinion is just a damn opinion.
Exactly.
And you can say what you want as long as you're not harming anybody else. And she didn't harm a damn person. She was just talking about stuff. And I'll tell you what, brother, I love me some Harry Potter, and I will actually check this video out, and then if this game comes out, and if it's actually pretty damn good, I might have to check it out, because I love me some Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. It looks good. It looks good. I don't know. I'm definitely not going to buy it day one, because, why do that shit these days? No. Just wait a couple weeks and it'll be $10, $15 cheaper and more worth it, in my opinion. Work the bugs out of it, but it looks like it's going to be really good. Like, the graphics on it look really awesome. Maybe
and who knows, it might come out on Game Pass.
Exactly. Shit, I mean, they do have a lot of great day one drops here lately. That's one good thing about Xbox over PlayStation. Like, PlayStation tried to switch to that model where they're doing that different levels of the Game Pass, or whatever they call it, PlayStation Plus, but it's not working. Apparently they've been losing subscribers left and right here lately, so they're trying to rework again.
I think sometimes when you try to copy somebody that's got something that's going on really, really awesome, and then you're like, well, let's change it up a little bit. Well, Sony hasn't exactly been the most consumer friendly in the last year or two. When they used to be the most consumer friendly. Right. And I'll tell you what, brother, if I could get my 24-inch pythons around those guys, I would show them a thing or two. Because I'll tell you what, you've got to be consumer friendly. That's right. And Microsoft, they come a little bit, from being like, really consumer hostile. But I'll tell you what, that Game Pass is something that, Nintendo's trying to push something on you, and Sony, they're trying to push something on you, and it ain't no Game Pass. Now, Is the Hulkster an Xbox fan per se? And am I a fanboy? Hell no. I like them all, but I'll tell you what, Xbox knows what's best for them, and they know what's going on. But I'll tell you, they better not raise that damn price, because if they do, you're gonna have people dropping off like flies.
And I give Nintendo credit. That is where they do kind of shine on the price wise, because their shit is like what, $20 a year versus it. PlayStation $60 a year for their base package now, and I believe it's up to like $130 or $140 for their like platinum package. What's the Xbox? Is it still just, I don't know what their pricing is on Xbox. I don't Xbox at all.
Well, I've been trying to find that out here recently, because mine's expiring out in I think March or April, and I can't get a definitive price on it either. I can't tell, is it $60 for the year? Or, they keep showing me just the monthly pricing, and I'm getting kind of tired of not being able to find out what the hell's going on. And I went directly to their website, too. Can't figure it out. Anybody in the chat know what
Yeah, somebody in the
what's going
chat
on
drop
with
it.
Xbox Game Pass?
Drop it in the chat. Let us know how much the Game Pass is. If they're doing just the only monthly pricing, or if they're doing it like a yearly discount rate also, because that would be nice if they did. You know, shit.
Yeah,
They
that would
definitely
be pretty
should.
cool. Well, hey, this week, guess what? Guess what? I picked this up.
Oh, the Atari
Now,
50th.
yeah, now you know me, the Hulkster's old school anyway. I don't do any
Got
wrestling
that
anymore, but I'm
retro.
old school. And I'll tell you what, I am a retro wrestler, and this is definitely a retro game. And, I'll tell you what, they did it up right on this. And there's some videos out there already and some more coming. I know that other people are making their videos. And this is more than just playing a game or like that cruddy flashback thing. You know, they have those flashback video game packages and stuff with just regular
Yes.
Atari 2600 games. I'll tell you what, they did this up right, brother. You know, they got interviews in here. They got museum stuff. They got all kinds of crazy things going on in here. And, save states and everything. And it is done really well. They got some good music going on in there. On top of that, it's like you're actually in a damn museum. It is beautiful. So if you got yourself $40, I suggest for the Switch or the PS4 or PS5, go out there and get yourself one. Because I'll tell you what, if you love some Atari, you're going to love this.
It is on Steam also. I seen that earlier today. I noticed it. I was like, what is that? Oh, okay. I didn't know they were coming out with another one.
It is beautiful. They had, you can actually watch through and check out all the interviews. They got David Crane and they got Larry Kitchen in there, who used to be with Activision and formed Activision, and they got all kinds of interviews with different people. They even had one say, "Hey, you guys doing drugs around the office?" No, we never did any drugs here at Atari. And then you got other guys going,
Yeah, right.
"Oh hell yeah, we were toking it up while we were doing this stuff."
Of course they were.
Yeah, we were. But they were also talking about the Atari was not the easiest thing in the world to program for. And that is something that I, the Hulkster, did not know, that it was very difficult to program. And I can't explain it because I'm not a techie, but if you watch this thing, you watch all these interviews and things, it's very interesting and it's done really well, and you're going to learn a lot. It's educational, and hell, it's just fun to watch it.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff.
I love all those the old like documentaries and stuff on the old Atari guys, and I went through YouTube. There was probably about 2 months there. I went through and watched like a bunch of documentaries about the arcades, about Atari. They had some really really good ones on Atari, and then like on world record holders and stuff for arcade games and stuff back then. Really really awesome, like in-depth documentaries on folks.
Well, it was funny. Larry Kitchen was talking about like programming that, and he was talking about programming Donkey Kong, of course, which came out for the ColecoVision originally, and had a Coleco title for the Atari 2600. He said, "Now you get something like that back in the day. It was a miracle that it actually made itself onto TV screens and into consumers' homes.
No doubt.
Yeah, and they really did come up with a really good point. You have an arcade game." And then it's kind of like if for some of these games they actually ended up with, home versions for like say Atari 2600, and it's almost like you have the abridged version of something. So instead of reading the entire book of Moby Dick, you have the cliff notes. Hey, guy's pissed off, wants to kill a fish, goes after the fish that bit him. Okay, well with Donkey Kong, that's what you got. You got the abridged version, and that abridged version of Donkey Kong was a damn miracle on the Atari 2600. But you'll have people nowadays looking at that going, "Damn, that sucks. Look at that." It's like,
you don't understand how much it took to get that there.
Exactly. Now the original Pac-Man, I'm sorry, that just sucks. That Pac-Man on the 2600, that just sucks.
It's bad.
I don't care how. I mean, they could have put a little bit more into that, but I'll tell you what, brother, they did a really good job putting this 50th anniversary. Now, could have they put more stuff in here? Oh, heck yeah, because I was really happy to see Atari Lynx on here. They got Atari Jaguar. They got Atari computers on here, 5200, 7800, arcade, 2600, and then they have some really, really cool reimagining of things, which you can actually check on the fly, like they have Yar's Revenge Reimagined, so you can actually play the old version, and if you push a button on the controller, it'll actually go from left to right, and it'll uncover the new version back and forth. It's really cool. Also, back in the day, they never did make Sword Quest Air World. Now, I'm not the biggest Sword Quest fan in the world, I'll tell you that right now.
I know Sword Quest.
But Sword Quest Air World is now on this. They actually fleshed the game out. Plus, there was I forget the name of it right now, but there was an arcade game that got scrapped back in the day, and it was just about to come out, and Atari wasn't doing too well, and that's when Atari croaked. Well, I'll tell you what, that
Save that
arcade
money.
game that never made it is on here. You can play that
Nice.
arcade game that I can't remember. It's got some good stuff. So $40.
What was the one Sword World that was expensive as shit? It's so expensive on Atari. Like
Waterworld.
Is it Waterworld? Okay.
Yeah, that was the third one. And yeah, you can pay upwards of $75 to $125 for that
Just
right
for
now.
like a loose card of that one. Yeah, exactly.
Just loose, yeah. So
Yeah, that shit's nuts.
Yeah, pretty cool. Hey, I'm gonna take off here, and I'm gonna see if your other guys come in here in a little bit. And so it was good talking to you guys, and
Thank you,
maybe I'll
Hulk.
come on another time.
Always a pleasure to have Fake Hulk in.
Oh, hey, anytime, brother, anytime. We'll catch you all later, and hopefully your other host will be here in just a second.
Nice. All right, guys. We got Mystical in the chat. What's up, Mysticals? How's it going, bro? Hope everybody's doing all right. We can kind of see some of the chat. I don't know if it's all coming through. I know we're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Pretty much everywhere else, I guess, as well. Oh, we got Will in the chat. What's going on, Will? Yeah, you coming in late, bro. Don't worry about it. We got a couple more news topics here we'll talk about if we get our old other host in here. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
There's Dr. Scott. What's up, Dr. Scott?
Sorry, I was held
Had
up
a surgery?
in traffic there. Yeah, I had to have that hernia taken care of, and then on the way back from the hospital, I was stuck in traffic. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than being in traffic and you have a big bloody mass of gauze where your hernia was.
Yeah,
so,
I can tell. It's still bloody around your wrist there on that.
Oh yeah, I sometimes with costume changes, you forget to do shit. So.
Oh shit! Good times, man. Good times.
I'll tell you what. I'll be honest with you. There were times where either in college or even high school, you have to do a quick costume change, and there you are, all the way down to your drawers in front of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And even in high school, there was this one girl that I knew. She actually was coming in to help people with their makeup, and she came in. And I'm standing there in my drawers, and I'm like, I don't care. She was in there. It is what it is. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. At least I wasn't standing there stark naked, right? So what other news do we have?
Well, a hot topic these days. Apparently, Halo is, stealing people's money and promising you shit that they're falling out on. They're like, you know what? We're gonna give you multiplayer, guys. We're gonna give you that couch co-op multiplayer. Pay us your money, and then okay, we take your money. Here's your game. We're gonna release that later, and then, well, we're not really gonna do that anymore.
Well, what I know this is an old topic kind of, but I actually stumbled onto it this week, and it really disappointed me and kind of angered me. And yes, I am going to be doing a video on it, so keep an eye out for that. But
check that out.
What I found out was
Retro on YouTube.
Yeah, they apparently they promised couch co-op. There was a video of former 343 head Bonnie Ross out there going, we're going to give you co-op back because we know that that's something that Halo is based on and what people really like doing. And my wife and I, we love playing Halo co-op. And we didn't even get to play Halo 5 co-op because of this. Mm-hmm. So here it is. They say, we're gonna do co-op again, and people are throwing down their money. Here's my $60.
Yep. Quickly. As soon as they heard that, that was like a money grab right there all day long.
Yep. And then like Game Pass too. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get the game free if I have Game Pass free. I mean, it's not free. You paid for it. Right. You paid for a service. Therefore, the thing that you were promised is not coming to your TV now. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there going, "Oh well, I play multiplayer. I really don't play the campaign."
Right.
Good for you. But there are people like me who don't give a damn about the multiplayer, and we want the campaign.
Right.
So when I found this out, I was very, very upset. And I found out what they're going to push off on you now is they're going to say, oh yeah, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear this one.
in the United States, it is illegal to do a bait and switch.
Right.
This is a bait and switch.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to give you co-op, but it's going to be 4-player network co-op. So that would mean...
That is not a couch co-op at all.
No. That
means I have to have my console,
co-op.
my buddy has to have his console, and we have to have 2 TVs in the same house.
And another copy of the game,
right.
Unless you have Game Pass.
That's
and
so
I actually did the math, Tony. I did the math. In order for you to do that in the same room with your friend, your wife, your girlfriend, your best friend, whatever, it will cost you at least $700 to $850.
Your setup and that setup.
Yeah, because you have to have your setup and that setup.
So stupid.
Yeah. So bait and switch anybody. Does anybody want to join me on the class action lawsuit?
Oh, there's going to be one for sure.
Well, I don't know who's going to start off with it, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to see if I can find me an attorney who's willing to go, oh, hell yeah, I'll do that. Microsoft 343, get ready, because there's, you may have bloodthirsty lawyers out there. You may have lawyers that have shark fins on their back, but there's no way you can win this.
No.
You failed. And here's the thing. You spent $69 billion to try to buy Activision. That's not counting the cost, what it's costing for you to attempt to do it. So add that in on top of it. But you're not going to add in the extra $14.50 to fix Halo?
Right, no.
Now, guess what? There is an exploit, and I'm not going to explain it, but there is an exploit where you can actually play split-screen co-op. And look it up on YouTube. There's an exploit where you can actually do it. It's already built into the game. They're just not going to finish it.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So you're telling me that you're more concerned about buying Activision Blizzard so you can get their IPs rather than fixing the IP that you built your damn company on?
Wrong.
Talk about piss-poor stewards. If it would have been Bungie, the head of Bungie would have killed themselves. Bonnie Ross, I know you're probably not listening to this, but if anybody out there knows Bonnie Ross, or if this is the six stages of Kevin Bacon, and you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows Bonnie Ross, guess what? Screw you, lady. I'm glad you're not at the company anymore. Screw you.
Hell yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Get that off my soapbox now. Halo is some... No, but I'm passionate about Halo.
Halo runs deep with people, man. It really does. Like, it's one of those games that really brought a lot of people together that would have never been together. I mean, it's just one of those root core games, really.
Well, it is entirely possible. It is possible. Now, I'm not saying probable, but it is possible that if it wasn't for Halo and me playing couch co-op or even multiplayer with up to 4 people on split screen on my TV, it is even possible that my wife and I may not be married right now, because I was like, hey, I had a couple of buddies over, and she's like, oh, what are you guys playing? Well, like, you want to play? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then there she is trying to figure out the controls and stuff like any noob does. And we're going up, just hitting her in the back of the head, running around, cackling, ha 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 ha. And then when my kids, both of my boys, when they started learning Halo, you're doing the same thing. Oh, hell, my son Warren, he was just like, well, you're not giving me a chance to win. I'm like, get better, son.
No chances.
That's all it is.
No chances.
Get better, son. But that's the thing. There are friendships marriages, families. There are people out there who love their couch co-op, and they're not getting it when they paid for it. Nope. And I just think that's
when it was promised. Like, it'd be one thing if they didn't even mention it. If they didn't even mention it, and then maybe they're like, okay, we're thinking about doing it, and then just didn't do it. But they flat out fucking promised you're gonna get couch co-op with this shit. Like, you will get it. Give us your money, and then now you're not gonna get it. So, go figure. Go freaking figure with that. Something else you might not get. Anything, or you might not get the download code in your fucking God of War pre-order. Your big collector's edition $375 pre-order opened up and no download code.
Yeah, I saw some videos on that just today. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
apparently,
wonder if they're gonna do anything. Like if you call it in and bitch about it, if they're gonna do anything better for you, if they're just gonna send you like, oh, here you go, here's your code.
Well, according to what I heard from one channel that I watch, they said that it's going to take 5 to 7 business days to get this sorted out and get it to you. And I'm like, now let me get this straight. These people paid upwards of $400 for something. And first, okay, forgive me if you're one of the people who bought this, but you are stupid. And here's why. Here's why you're stupid. You know, here's why you're stupid. I love you, but here's why you're stupid. You knew that it wasn't going to come with a physical disc. It was just going to come with a download code. You're going to pay $400
for a hammer and some statues and a dice and a steel book. Now it had a little 7-inch vinyl record in it too, which was pretty neat. But I just don't see $400 worth of shit in there.
But Tony, it comes with the steelbook case for it.
Oh, I know.
A steelbook case.
Did you see it? Did you see the steelbook case open? It's actually a dual disc steelbook case, right? So it's got 2 places for the disc. You literally have to go buy the fucking game. You have to go buy another $70 edition of the game or $70 version of the game and to put it in there. Just to put it in there.
I mean, yeah. That's why they did it. That's why they did it, because they want you, the stupid person, to go out there and buy the game twice.
Yep.
Twice. Why?
I mean, I remember, what was it, just a couple years ago, you would buy the high dollar edition of the game. You would get the steelbook. You would get the physical edition of the game. You would get all the extra bullshit, maybe an art book, a soundtrack, some other stuff, download codes to get extra shit in the game, and they would give you like a download code for the digital version of the game. You would get all that for that price.
You make a good point, and I'll tell you what. Let me turn the camera off for 1 second. I'm going to show you something. Hold on.
All right. This is going to be interesting. He's still got his fake Hulk logo up. What you talking about over there in the chat, Will? Tony up late as always. It's like, it's only 8:30, bro.
As I drop it on the floor.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I've had this thing for years, and I'm dropping it on the floor. So, anyway. Okay, so, now, is this like the most special, awesome edition of something that they could have made? No, but this was the top tier of this particular game that you could get at the time.
Right.
And this is my Metal Gear Solid 4 limited edition, and you'll notice it still has the plastic on the. This is metal.
Right.
This front is metal. Okay. So, and inside, you know, you open the bad boy up. Inside,
nice.
You know, it
nice little
comes
slip
with.
Case.
Oh yeah, and it's like slanted too. It's like really cool. It's very, very cool. And then, so, you know, inside it's got, you know, of course, the game. You know, here's the game. Open it up. It's got this a manual. Actually, has the manual. I got the receipt in here still. It's got the manual. It's got like this comic thing in the manual and everything. It's really, really, really cool.
Right.
But
nicely done.
That's not everything. It also came with this. So this says.
Nice.
It is a tactical, it is a Blu-ray. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. It has the original soundtrack, and it has this Blu-ray. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the it says the limited edition bonus disc.
Right.
I think it has a lot of making of, behind the scenes stuff like that with
a couple
Hideo
documentary
Kojima.
thing probably.
And then here's the other thing. Now, when I ordered it, I got this in addition to that, and I'll be honest, it's been a long time. I don't remember what the difference between this is and this DVD is. So I got this in addition to that stuff. Now, this might just be
like a DVD versus the Blu-ray.
It might be.
Yeah.
So if anybody remembers, let me know.
That's pretty cool, though. It was like a pre-order kind of gift for it.
I believe it was. So, but that's how you do it. Now, did it come with? I mean, is it as cool as like ordering, say, the Halo Reach Legendary Edition, and you got the cool statue?
Oh, right.
No. Is it as cool as getting Halo 3 and you get the... Now, people are going, well, I got the helmet, but it doesn't fit on my head.
It's because it's a fucking statue. It's a fucking statue.
It's just a statue.
Right. It's a dust collector. It's not a fucking costume piece.
Thank you. Exactly.
Or
But
what
if,
was the,
you know, if you,
didn't Fallout sell you like a nuke one time? They had like a whole big ass nuke you could get?
yes, it had it
That was the
it
PC
was
version that had the game in it, right? You'd like
it
flip
had
it
the
open?
game. I believe it was for Fallout 3, and I think it had three. If I'm not mistaken, it also had 1 and 2 in there as well. I
Okay.
think,
Nice.
but I don't remember. But yeah, it was a big ass bomb like this.
Yeah, that thing was cool as shit.
Cool.
I seen one for sale up shit, it's been like probably 4 years ago now. I had a chance to get it, but I didn't.
The coolest special edition I ever saw. And to me, this was worth it, and it was expensive. It was, even though the game itself, I wasn't a big fan of the first one, but I am of the second one, was Titanfall. It came with that giant statue of the Titan, and that thing must have stood 3 feet tall. And then of course your character is like real small along the side. That thing's beautiful. If any of you don't know what I'm talking about,
I need to look
just
that up.
look it up. It is a gorgeous resin statue, very detailed, beautiful. The thing was in a box. The box was huge. And I remember eventually if some of those were on clearance at GameStop, and I wish I could have grabbed one at the time. I think the cheapest I saw was like, I want to say $75. And yeah, but that's how you do it. But guess what it came with?
Everything else.
The game.
Right.
It came with a physical copy of the game. I could see if they weren't making physical copies of the game at all.
Right.
I could see that. And then you open up your God of War, and guess what? There's nothing in there.
Oh my god.
You know, just a
completely
download
missing.
code.
Or the download code's missing. Like, we're gonna sell you just a download code. By the way, it doesn't even come with a download code in your box, and we fucking missed it. So now you gotta wait 5 to 7 more days to even play the game.
I would take it back.
Oh.
And I would.
I don't know that I'd take it back.
back.
I would get my money back and keep that shit. I'd be like, nah, fuck y'all. Give me my money back. Because that's bullshit. Like, you need to give me my money back. I'm keeping all this shit, and you need to give me that download code.
You are dead on. If Sony wanted to do the honorable thing, Sony, you're a Japanese company. Do the honorable thing. Either one, pony up the money and give people their money back and give them a physical copy plus the digital code, or Harry Carey. I'm not kidding. Get your sword out. And do it, because if you don't know how to treat people right, you don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, like, at least give them a fucking physical copy of the game if they didn't have their download code in it, just to put in their steelbook. Like, I don't understand that. How are you gonna sell a fucking steelbook without the game?
Now, is it possible this was a mistake in the manufacturing process?
I mean, I'm sure it was. They completely forgot just to put it in the box, you know. It's not like they did with the Red Dead. What was it, Red Dead Redemption 2? You're supposed to get like a canvas carry bag with the special edition, and it turned out to be like some kind of like plastic piece of shit like bag, and they even mentioned that it was like a canvas bag, and then people got it and it was like a plastic like what's like the little, I don't even know how to describe it, but just like a thin little piece of plastic nothing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those real thin, almost like real cottony feeling bags that are. Yeah, they're like, practically see-through.
Exactly.
just a step below burlap.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean,
so
that's another reason I hate going after those collector's edition things, man. It's just like you never know that bait and switch shit can happen at any time. I mean, or even like this one, they told you that you wasn't going to get the physical copy of the game. You're going to get a download code with all this extra shit. And I mean, that's a huge box, man. If you've seen that God of War collector's box, it is big.
Well, that's what kind of pissed me off about. Now, mind you, when I bought Sonic Mania, I knew coming in there was no physical copy coming out.
Right.
It was going to be a download code, and that was it.
Exactly.
And then when I opened up the box and I saw that the statue of Sonic on top of the Sega Genesis, it was very chintzy feeling. I mean, it for what I paid, I was like, and my wife said, this is crap. And I said, yeah. And I used the download code, and the thing sat there for like a day, and I put it back in the box, and it sat there for another week, and then I eventually put it on, I think, Marketplace or eBay.
Just flipped
and
it.
I said, listen, I just flipped it. I said, hey, you're not going to get the game, but you're going to get the, and somebody said, yeah, I just bought the download code. I'll be happy. I'm like, take it.
Nice.
I don't want it. And I'm pretty sure that Brandon actually has the, I'm pretty sure he has the statue and all. And then after that, it wasn't even 6 months later, they're going, oh, guess what? We're going to come out with the physical game. I was like, you sons of bitches.
Right. Of course they do.
Now, if I ever see it, if
It
I
did so well. We're actually gonna do it and make more money now.
right, and that's how come sometimes when that happens, I just wait now. I just wait, and the
It's
nice
so
thing
hard to
about
jump
Sonic
on the new
Frontiers,
train. It's so hard to jump on the new train.
it is, and here's the thing, right now, I mean, it's no secret, everybody out there, I'm not embarrassed by it. I am technically right now, I am unemployed. I am a graphic designer, I'm a video editor, and I am unemployed. My company let me and a bunch of other people go just because. And this was six months ago. Well, not 6 months ago. It was back in July, so almost it'll be 6 months ago
Coming up on it.
in January. But they got bought out by another company, and then as soon as they started hiring a bunch of vice presidents and stuff like that, paying them six figures
Yep.
each,
Cut
well,
out
they
the
had to
highest
start
paid employees.
Yep, so they cut like half my department out. Okay, fine. That's fine. I'm still looking for work. But the point behind all that is, why did I even start saying that shit? What were we talking about?
Games.
I don't even know why I was even talking about that.
Just went off on the rant. Nice.
Wow.
We were talking about Sonic Mania and then the physical copy of the game.
Yeah, I may not even have the money, for some games and things like that right now, just because I am unemployed. But I'll tell you what, if you can get something for free, if you can get something on a great deal, if you can get something, like for example, Frontiers just came out, Sonic Frontiers, it's on sale already at GameStop for $40 this week. And I don't, get it on sale because things fall fast unless it says Nintendo on it and it's a Nintendo property, then it'll never fall. But when I can, I try to get things as cheap as possible. Even when I'm unemployed, if right now, am I buying a ton of stuff? No. But,
well, especially now being unemployed, you got to get that deal.
Right.
Why the hell pay full price when you can literally just wait a week and get it $10, $15 cheaper?
And that's the thing is there's a lot of people out there right now losing their jobs and they're wondering about Christmas and stuff like that. Look for the deal.
Yep.
Look for the deal. Look to trade stuff. I have plenty of stuff that's in my collection that I just don't care about anymore.
Same shit.
And it's got to go. And it was been on the chopping block before I was on the chopping block. Sell the stuff that you don't want and get the stuff you do want. Because
put it up for trade. Offer it up for trade. See what people have for trade, man. People literally trade you stuff that they don't want that you may want,
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I know that we've all done this. We've all sold something, traded something, and then years later or months later said, damn, I wish I would have done that. And then you can always go get another one, and maybe not be in this, like my Vita that I have. I got rid of my original Vita, and I was lucky to get hold of another one here about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I got one in exquisite condition.
Nice.
Just as good as the one that I bought brand new. But if you do happen to have something like, for example, I have Godzilla for the PS4. I'm getting rid of that game.
Yeah. It's a good money game anyway.
There, yes, and there is somebody out there who is really wanting that. I would rather see it be on your shelf. You're getting enjoyment out of it. And I'm not going to be sitting here going, yeah, I got the money. Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Right.
But from my perspective,
put that
I would rather
you
see.
Want.
Right, and I want you to enjoy it rather than sit here collect dust.
See, and that's where I'm. I really stand for the middleman when it comes for that kind of shit. Like, a lot of people say resellers are trash and all this and that, and I'm like, some
depends.
Some resellers do get they'd have a bad vibe in general. But you've got a lot of guys like myself and a lot of local people that I know and who in a lot of my local circle, local gaming circles, we go to the flea markets, we go to the yard sales.
Yep.
We're out there finding those deals. We're picking those games up. We're flipping those games. We're keeping what we want out of it for our collections, and we're selling the other stuff. Now, are we getting full-blown retail out of the stuff? Sometimes, hell yeah, if it deserves full-blown retail, you got to get retail for it, But, I mean, if it's something that I picked up for $5 and it's, happens to be a freaking $30, $40, $50 game, $100 game, whatever, I can pass a deal on to somebody who wants that game. I don't necessarily like that game, but I'm going to put this, and this in my collection, so I'm going to sell this game for, maybe $15, $20 less in retail to make some of my money back. And then, like you said, that game goes to somebody who's going to enjoy it. and they get it
Exactly.
for, you know, a discounted price versus, you know, they didn't have to go out and look for it. They didn't wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, go out yard selling to find shit, you know. So I stand with the middleman on that kind of stuff, you know.
Absolutely, and I really support anybody who is the middleman, who is especially if you are the little shop owner,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're the mom and pop shop owner, or you own a couple shops or
Yep.
something like that, or let's say you don't even have a brick and mortar store and you're just reselling. Okay, you're doing the conventions, you're doing the expos, you have an online shop, you're doing other people a service, and on
Yep.
top of that, you're literally putting food on that person's table, as opposed to it going into Walmart, Target,
Mm-hmm.
GameStop, whoever, and
Exactly.
I understand that GameStop needs to make money, but at the same time, I swear this
Their
was
business
funny.
model's fucked.
Their business model is screwed, and that's how come GameStop's going to be gone in the next couple 3 years if they don't do a major shift.
Yeah.
But with the digital wave coming probably in the next generation
Oh yeah,
anyway,
that's gonna kill it.
they're gone anyway. But I was in there just yesterday, to pick up the Atari. Hey, did you guys see this? Did you guys see
I think
this?
Fake Hulk showed us that one.
Did Hulk Hogan show you that? Yeah, okay. Well, I picked that up yesterday, so I'm glad that Hulk showed you. But I was in there to pick it up yesterday, and there was a gentleman in there, and he had a box, and he had this controller. It was a PS5 controller. He just bought it the day before. Now, he did open it. So, and he comes back, and the reason why he bought it was he bought the new Gotham Knights game, and he thought it was split screen co-op.
Ah,
Gee, where
hey,
where was I hearing something
full
about split
circle.
screen co-op? Yeah. Anyway, so he comes in and very earnestly, very nicely is asking my friend who is the manager there. He says, "Is it possible I can return this, because I didn't know this game was not going to be split
Mm-hmm.
screen?" And my buddy, and I apologize. No, you've already opened it. So he looked up how much it would be on trade, just for the heck of it. And the guy's standing there. He just paid $70 for this brand new controller
Yep.
one day ago.
15
It
bucks.
hasn't been used. Yep, it was $15.
15 fucking
It was
dollars. Yep.
it was $15. I looked at him and I said, "There's always marketplace." And he said, "You know what? I can do that, or my buddy that has the PS5, he needs another controller. I'm just going to give it to him.
Yep.
Give it."
Fuck yeah. I
And
mean, for
hey,
15 bucks, why not? I mean, shit.
yeah. So, I mean, you could have something in your closet right now that maybe your best friend or your girlfriend's brother or somebody else might want, or somebody's having a really hard time because Christmas is coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, I'll tell you what, my mom and dad, my dad had a really good job. And when I was growing up, there was a time where he was in and out of the hospital a lot. And I think it was like my 8th birthday. Tell you this little story. It was like my 8th birthday. He was in the hospital. He was going to be in there for about a week, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was just like, "What are we going to do?" And then he was going to be on medical leave for a little while. So, I had an Atari, and my cousin, who was considerably older than me, he was selling a whole bunch of games. So my mom, for my birthday, she said, "I know your dad's in the hospital. I wrapped this. It's not brand new. That's why I didn't ask you. Hey, do you want
Mm-hmm.
a game?" For at that time, a brand new game was 30, $35,
Right.
not 60, 70. He goes, "I didn't ask you what game you wanted or whatever, and you haven't really said anything about it, you know, but I got this box for you. It's not brand new, but I hope you like it." I opened up this box, and my cousin was selling all these Atari games, including
Mm-hmm.
all the, had the plastic case where you can stack them all,
Oh yeah.
and there must have been 25 games there.
Nice.
It was like, and I was like, I mean, Outlaw, stuff like that,
Oh hell yeah.
Casino, some games that I probably wouldn't play, but there was Breakout, Super Breakout, a lot of good stuff in there, that not one that I have.
Right.
I mean, it was Atari, and I might have had, at the time, I might have had 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
She just, quadrupled my collection in one fell
Oh
swoop.
hell yeah.
And she
Hey,
said,
I got a
she
shit to
says to me,
play.
yeah, she says, "Sweetheart, is this okay?" And I gave her the biggest hug. I was like, "Mom, this is fantastic. This is great. This is the best thing in the world." If you have something on a shelf sitting there, and somebody's going through a hard time right now, ask them. They might just take it off your hands, because kids don't care.
Right.
Some kids do. The spoiled rotten
Oh,
kids do care.
spoiled
But
little
some
brats.
kids. So I'll tell you what. Do yourself a favor because it may not go in your wallet, but it's going to go right here.
That's right.
That's where it's going to feel good.
You feel
not
it.
your wallet.
You definitely feel it.
Yeah. Game Junction, we care.
That's right. Exactly. Pass it along. Pass it along.
And, well, after I told Bonnie Ross to go screw herself, but that's a different kind of care.
We care on some levels, on other levels, people can go fuck themselves.
Exactly. No,
you gotta have that balance there,
Well, that's how come we're bringing this stuff up, because we actually do give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
We give a damn about our fellow gamers. We give a damn about about the people who are out there working hard,
Exactly.
trying to make ends meet, and they want to get a little distraction from the woke mob out there and the craziness that's going on from day to day. And then
it's so weird. It's so weird how it happens in some areas and then some it doesn't. Like right here where I'm at, we don't get a whole lot of that shit. I don't deal with a lot of that in my day to day. My job is pretty simple, just selling car parts and shit.
I don't either.
We don't really get a lot of that stuff, but literally 50 miles down the road, if you go to Atlanta, it's a completely different fucking story, or if you go, any major cities around, it's completely different. And I just can't deal with all that woke shit. I'm just done. I just want to just let me go to work and come home and play my shit without having to be in every little aspect of my life.
That's why I can't watch the news anymore. I'm tired of it.
You go watch a new movie. You go watch the news. You play any new fucking game. It's all gotta be that way. And there are some games coming out that is that way that I do want to play, though, like that Forspoken coming out for PlayStation. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool game. It's kind of different, like a whole completely different IP. There's nothing been done like it, I don't think. You have that the urban girl who gets kicked back to an ancient world, and then she becomes throwing magic and shit. And I like throwing magic. I want to throw some magic in a game. So I'm hoping that game turns out good. Everything I've seen, it looks okay.
The only way that The Last of Us 2 will ever make it in this house is if I see it for $5.
It'll be $5 at some point after they remake it 12 times.
Because I have the first one, which I still never played yet. I have the first one. And I don't give a damn about a remake because I've got the HD remaster. What do I need a remake for? The game just came out 8 years ago, 6 years ago. I mean, talk about trying to squeeze a turnip.
Milking it.
Yeah, but anyway,
pulling a GTA 5 with The Last of Us.
Yeah, and I still have to finish GTA 5 because I've already told you guys I've had to start that over 3 damn times.
Yep.
So I have stuff on my shelf, and I know a lot of collectors out there who are watching have a ton of stuff on their shelf right now that have never been opened. And I was just talking to a gentleman about that earlier this evening. I said, I have stuff sitting on my shelf that has cellophane on it that I've never opened. I have games that I bought that I've never opened that I don't even know if they ever will get opened. Just because I have such a backlog, and who has the time?
Right.
Yeah, we continue to buy stuff. So, take that for whatever it's worth, because I know that there's plenty of people out there.
The hard part about that is if you want it new, right? You kind of got to buy it new when it's new. Because a lot of this new shit, it goes quick, and then if you want it, say, 3 years from now new, good fucking luck.
Yeah, and that you got that right, because I think sometimes you might go into a place and find something that you haven't touched. It's like $5 on clearance, but if you want to grab that game brand new, you better get it when you can.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the shit that hits those $5 shelves is all just shovelware garbage. You can go to Five Below and you can definitely find new sealed games there, but it's not your first party titles. Not your AAA stuff. You'll get some decent games from there for sure, but
90% of the time, like you said, it's shovelware crap. Or it's got to be something really old, because I know the local one that's here. They have, I think it's NBA, I want to say 2021 or 2020 sitting on the shelf.
Right.
And I'm like, it's an old game, and they got it there for $5 or $6. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't have it, I'm not a big sports title person anyway. So, if I get the the $3 game that's sitting on the shelf from 2 or 3 years ago,
Yep.
I'm good.
Well, and that's what
I'm not gonna play with it that much anyway.
me and my buddy back here, we've had discussions about sports games and stuff. He's a huge sports game guy, and a lot of the sports guys are really into what's the campaign like on the new version. What does the new version give me? Control wise over my team, versus not everybody buys it just to play online and trash talk people. They do want the campaign of the game and to be able to have that player management and just overall management of your team and your legacy and stuff
season.
like that, right? And be able to just to play a season out or just fast forward through the season, see what happens with your team. So it's kind of, I feel like that's where a lot of the sports games are really lacking these days. They're just kind of focusing mainly on that multiplayer online shit, not really giving your solo player anything to play with.
Do you think that it's possible that they are forcing that on people? And what I mean by that is, it's not so much that, hey, we're leaning, the people who are playing these games are leaning that way.
Mm-hmm.
Is it more like they're trying to go that way because they know they can get your microtransactions and they can get your fees and stuff like that?
That's a good take on it, because you're not. I mean, as a solo campaign player, I wouldn't be going in and buying anything to make my character look different. I wouldn't go in there and buy a 20 different hairstyle pack for my character. I would just play with what's in the game. I think you're right on that. The only reason you would want to do that is if you're in that multiplayer aspect where you're trying to make your character look different than everybody else, who you're playing with online. So maybe you would go in there and spend the $5 to get the 20 different hairstyles or the different tattoo pack or whatever. I don't even know what the hell they offer in the sports games these days, but that sounds like something they would fucking do. And if they don't, I don't know why they don't.
Well, I know when I play Rainbow Six Vegas 2, there's an oldie but a goodie, I try to look as ridiculous as possible, and at that time they didn't offer anything that you could buy online to change your character, and you could do quite a bit with it.
Right.
So yeah, I could definitely understand, but I know with Friday the 13th, the game, they had some of the 80s packs that you could buy, and there were only like 3 or 4 that you could buy, and they were all like $3 each.
See, now that's reasonable. That's a reasonable thing, but when you get a pack that's literally like one costume or like a fucking skin for your gun,
$10
here, $9.99. And that the skin for your gun is the thing that drives me the craziest, man. Like in Call of Duty and that kind of shit. Like, who the fuck is ever gonna see that besides me holding my gun, looking at it, right? So, and I personally don't give a shit. Doesn't bother me whether it's just a plain metal gun or the damn thing's got pot leaves all over it. I don't care. But like the dude shooting me in a fucking sniper rifle isn't gonna see that and go, "Oh shit, that guy's got the pot leaves on his gun. Holy shit!" Like nobody cares.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna play smartass devil's advocate. You're playing, and then you're gonna go teabag somebody real quick, and you go, "Oh, look at his gun. How cute." Yeah. Oh, right. I want one of those. Let me get my wallet.
Well, you can't teabag in Call of Duty anymore, right? Because I think when you kill them, their body just disappears and their loot drops, right? I don't know.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But yeah, for when I did my Friday the 13th video, I was talking about because depending upon which platform I'm playing it on, if I'm playing it on the PlayStation, I think it might be the Wii, not the Wii, the Switch. I bought the 80s pack where you could actually get the bikinis and stuff, and I'm like this really hot counselor, and I'm turning around and I'm staring at her butt and stuff, and then I have it for all 3 consoles, and I'm like, oh, if I'm gonna play it on the Xbox, I gotta buy that again.
Well,
it's not worth. Man, it's not worth the $3 for me, but it was okay for just that time. But I understand that they're trying to make as much money as possible.
Right.
I get
definitely.
That. But wouldn't it be better if you made a quality game that would come out at $60, that has a physical copy, that the disc is actually inside, that, and just like Mark from Classic Game Room used to bitch about this, he would say, I paid my $50 or $60. He goes, when do I get the full game? After I have paid, $15, $20, 3 or 4 more times
for every DLC.
So now you've paid $80 plus your $60, so now you've paid $140 for a game. I'll tell you what. You tell me how much the complete game is at the very, very, very beginning.
Right.
and I'll pay that price.
Well, I'm
No, they're
wondering,
trying
like,
to milk you.
okay, so like with Resident Evil, what's the newest one? Is it Biohazard? They keep dropping all these DLCs for right now, or is it The Village? Maybe The Village.
The Village.
So I mean, like, fuck, man, they're just still dropping them. They keep dropping. Oh, here's the new expansion for this winter thing, and then this one over here, and this. Like, can you not just do all that shit at the beginning? Do they not have that planned out? They're like, okay, so we're gonna drop the game, and then maybe a couple months we're gonna drop a DLC, and then another month we'll do another DLC. I mean, like, can we not just get it all at once? Fuck Mortal Kombat. Okay, I can't even with that bullshit. You get a battle pass with Mortal Kombat now, and then you get fucking character packs you have to buy to play all the other people. Man, fuck you. Okay,
and then
give me the damn character list.
And then at the very end, they go, oh, now here's the Ultimate Edition. So now you have everything. Yes. You're going, but I already bought all this
I just spent $600 buying all these fucking characters, and now I could just pay $70 for the Ultimate Edition? Like, get out of here.
And the Ultimate fan is going to say, well, I bought this one. Now, this last one, 11, was the first time they ever had multiple storylines going on. So you got the Aftermath, and that had, more characters and a completely new story. So that's technically 2 games, kind of, sort of, like Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 11 and a half. And then they came out with the Ultimate. So if you paid for it 60, I don't know, the other one, when Aftermath came out, that was 60 or just 40.
But I think it's probably like a 40 download 60 or something. 60.
Yeah, but I was just like, no, I wasn't going to buy that, even though it had RoboCop and it had Terminator, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then they came out with that Ultimate Edition. Yeah, it had Rambo. And I was like, you know what? I know that they're going to come out with an Ultimate Edition, and I waited for that. So I still have the first, 11, then I have 11 Ultimate. I didn't get the one in the middle.
Yeah.
And so...
I mean, I do want to check it out for the story mode. I just can't do any kind of fighting games online these days because there's so many kids on there that are just so badass, and they just... I can't even... I get my dick kicked in every time I try.
I'm gonna say 2 things that are old adages. One, P.T. Barnum used to say, "There's a sucker born every minute," and that is true of even me. Am I the most frugal person in the world? Am I the person who's gonna go, "No, Mortal Kombat 12's out, and I'm not buying it until the second it drops to like $30, I'll buy it," and then I go, "Shit! Now they're gonna come out with the next one, with the Ultimate Edition," and I'm going. But that's where the second adage comes in. A fool and his money are soon parted, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't understand. How are they going to do Mortal Kombat 12 when they have 11 with all these Battle Pass shit? It's got, like, seasons in it, does it not? Like, Mortal Kombat 11 has, like, the season pass where you pay, like, $20 or whatever for, like, a 3-month pass to play something. I don't even know how it fucking works.
I don't know. I don't play it online, so I haven't the slightest clue. Right. I mean, I'm all for playing in my living room.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need to do then, just get in play story mode and get through it like that and try that. Because I really do like the Mortal Kombat universe. Like, that's one of my favorite fucking franchises, like, they ever did. So they just killed me when they went to the online shit and when they went to that whole Battle Pass scheme. Like, I mean, I've said it before with, like, Fortnite, but they've got the Battle Pass thing right. They give you the option to buy it the first year or whatever, and then you play and you can earn your coins to get it the next time instead of having to pay for it each time.
I wouldn't be opposed, because I remember when Mortal Kombat Armageddon came out. That was the last 3-dimensional one, and that was for the PlayStation 2. I don't know if it came out for the Xbox or not.
It was. Yeah, I got it on Xbox. Yeah.
And, I had the Steelbook edition back there. I think it only came in Steelbook.
I think Armageddon was the one that had, like, a bunch of different, like, variant cover arts, was it not? Like, each character, like 4 or 5 of the main characters had their own cover art for it.
But I remember it came with a second disc, and it had Mortal Kombat chess. It had Mortal Kombat carts.
Right.
It also had, if I'm not mistaken, it had Mortal Kombat.
Was the puzzle fighter game?
Yep, and it also had 1, 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 in there. So
yeah,
exactly. Yay with that. But I would be okay if they said, hey, we're going to go back, and we're going to give you Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and 4 completely remastered. Well, you would have to remake it.
Yeah.
You would have to remake it.
Yeah, for sure. You couldn't remaster it. It would look stupid if you tried to remaster it.
Yeah. Remake all of them, put them on one disc, and let me have that bad boy. And if you did something where it was called Ultimate Mortal Kombat across, I don't know what title you'd give it, where because sometimes with 4 and 3 and 2 you didn't have, and even 1 you didn't have all the same characters. So you might have Melina in say 3 or Shiva in 3, but maybe one of them would not be in 4. So
that console exclusive character.
Yes,
I mean, they did the complete collection, right? That was on what, PS3, I think, and Xbox 360. They called it the complete collection with K's instead of C's.
I think that is correct.
But that was before, anything nowadays. So I mean, they could definitely redo that, and I don't know. I was trying to think of a clever title for it real quick, but I couldn't come up with anything either.
Well, the guys are telling me that I sound echoey for some reason. I don't know why. I don't hear it.
I don't hear it either on my end.
No, I think both Shane and Brandon said that I sound echoey. I don't know.
Could just be my shitty stream, my crappy
Never
internet.
Know. Hey, I got something here that I did a video on. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up here if that's all right.
Hell yeah.
Since we're a little light on our staff tonight and guests. So yeah, the Hallmark came out with this lovely, if you can see it, the Sega Genesis.
Nice.
With Model 1 there. So let's open her up. I just went to Hallmark the other day and grabbed it because here's the batteries. I'm not going to bother messing and putting the batteries in right now. I mean, I can.
Now you can definitely check out his video on his YouTube page as well. He put one up the other day when he found it in the store. That thing is awesome.
She's so cute.
It is. It is so detailed.
And it's loud too. It is. It only take me a second to put the batteries in.
Nice. Yeah, I think I've got. I can't remember which one I've got over here. I think it's the original Nintendo. Maybe the Super. Hang on, I can grab mine right quick. I got it right over here.
Ah. Yeah, I know that they just came out with the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis this year, and I believe they're both the same price, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Sega Genesis, for some reason, I think that one's $22.99 or
yeah. The one I've got is the original Nintendo when it come out. I guess it was a couple years ago now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does it play music or anything?
Yeah, it does it does Mario, I believe.
Yeah, because they got the Super Nintendo. I like to get the Super Nintendo.
I need to get that one too. I need to get that one. I haven't even hung this thing on the Christmas tree. I just bought it and yeah.
Well, I think these batteries are almost impossible.
So it's actually like the first level.
I stabbed my hand! Okay. Here we go. You see, I wanted to open it up live here. I didn't want to go, I'm going to pre-open the batteries. Because that would have been... Well, it would have been me opening it up.
No, it's not live. You didn't open that fresh.
So, okay, where is it?
Nice. Ooh, I love that.
And it lights up too. Now the cool thing is, let me get the. My daughter will want. Let me push the button, Daddy.
Right.
And then I'm gonna want to throw the thing off the balcony then. So yeah, the actual button to turn it on and off
is the
power actual on and off switch.
Nice. Yeah. That's the way the Nintendo one is as well. Like the actual power button is the power switch on the little toy.
Now I do have a video coming out for the Super Nintendo one, but I have that one scheduled to come out the day before Christmas. So if I keep the video for this one, it's just a short.
Yeah.
It was going to come out the day before Thanksgiving, but I said, well, I didn't have my Torque video ready, and I wanted to put something up on Friday for everybody, so I tossed that up there. So, but yeah.
That's awesome.
But
Sonic was
look how
such a good
detailed
game.
that is.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I really liked the first two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the third one that well.
Yeah, I played Sonic.
I mean,
I remember Sonic and Knuckles more than I do really any of the other ones. That and Sonic Spinball. I don't know why the hell I played Sonic Spinball so much. That shit was just so fun back then.
I liked Sonic Spinball, and for some reason, I don't know why, just like, I don't know why, but I played Sonic 3D Blast,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it for the Genesis, which it wasn't that great, and I think I had it for the Saturn because I never had
Let me let
a
this dog
Sega
out right
CD.
quick. She's got to go to the bathroom.
Oh no! Dog's over there holding itself, going, "Please let me outside! Please let me outside!" But yeah, I just recently got, because I actually had an at-game Sega Genesis. I didn't have an actual Sega Genesis anymore, and I was holding out to get a Model 1 like this one. And when I was at Torg, I saw one and I was gonna grab it, and I said, well, if I don't get it there, I'll just grab it from Rock'em Sock'em Retro here in Bowling Green, Ohio. And I was kept hemming and hawing, and I want the Model 1. I want the Model 1 because I actually had one game that will not play on an emulation system, and that's Fire Shark.
Mm.
And when I even got it from eBay, I took it down to Rock'em Sock'em. I'm like, will you please test this and make sure it works before I,
Right.
contact this guy and say, hey, it doesn't work. They go, yeah, no problem. So they tested it in a regular Genesis, and it worked fine. And I said,
I think I've seen. I think I have heard of a couple games that are that way. They will not play on a like any kind of emulation system. Like
Nope.
you have to have like normal hardware for it to play on.
Yep, and Fire Shark is one of those. So I caved in and I bought a Model 2 Sega Genesis this past week from Rock'em Sock'em. Because at Torg, I did see one, and it got so busy there.
Right.
And when I went back by to see if the Genesis, I couldn't remember where it was, number one.
That's a big ass place.
Yeah, and there were so many people there that even if I would have seen it, or even if I would have been by the stand that had it,
Right.
I would have been able to see it because there were just so many people there. So I just asked.
Yeah, that shit looked like it needed to be a 2-day show for sure, man. Like I don't know. That's crazy. That many people for one day. That's awesome.
According to what I've been told, and Brandon would probably know more because he's more involved with Torg. He's actually involved with Torg, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have Brandon's ear, and then also John from Rock'em Sock'em. There's some stuff that he's willing to divulge here and there, but they got to keep some stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To the chest. They can't just tell the general public like me everything. But I do know that next year, I know one of the guests. I will not say who it is, but it's a very big guest. So I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing this particular guest.
Nice.
And I have messaged with this guest a couple times online, and can't wait. And it's also going to be at a much larger facility, 4 times the size of the facility it was in. Yeah. Now this place, the only reason, was it adequate? Yes. It was for me. It was much more adequate a space than CGC in Cleveland was. And the only reason why CGC was so crowded was because the IX Center in Cleveland is under construction right now. It was bought out by new owners. It had been sitting there for 2 years, and it needs some refurbishment. So they put a lot of it downstairs. They couldn't use the upstairs as much as they wanted. And it got very, very crowded, and I got the heck out of there. And a lot of people complained about how crowded and how hot it was downstairs.
Right.
Torg was not like that. There was plenty of elbow room. Yeah, you had to wait to get in front of some tables like you would anywhere.
Right.
But they they literally had to turn away 200 vendors that wanted to be there.
Damn.
Imagine if they would have had 200 more vendors.
Right. No.
They
shit.
had a lot there. And
yeah, but you couldn't. At some point, you got to know what you can fit in that room comfortably and what you can't.
Exactly, and that's how come they had their cutoff point, and they said this is it. And kudos to everybody from Torg. You guys did a great job. I did lend a hand here and there. My wife also volunteered painting faces for the kids zone, but I didn't. I'm not one of the staff members. I was just somebody who happened to be there, and they said, "Can you help out with this real quick?" And I was happy to go. Yeah, I'll give you a hand.
Hell yeah.
And was I one of the staff members? No. And was I one of the people on the planning committee? No. I'm going to take my hat off to you guys and say thank you so much. Thank you for the guests you had. Thank you for just the fantastic show you had there, and for doing things as well as you did do. And I know it's getting bigger and better every year.
Hell yeah.
The marketing is really, really great. Now, From a graphic design standpoint, though, I will say this, because I am a graphic designer. On that website, there are a couple changes I would make. And I will tell you the number one change I would make is the address was very difficult for me to find because there was a lot of visual clutter. Either put the address and contact information on a completely separate page where it's really, really clean, or just don't put clutter around it so that way people can see it immediately. But other than that, it's a very beautiful website. It's highly functional. The UI is very good. And Mike Coletti, I believe is his name, the gentleman who, it's his brainchild.
Yep.
Mike, you did a great job. And I will say this is the only thing I'm going to say about an incident that occurred. We had a small incident with a volunteer who thought that they were drunk with power.
Oh, fun.
And
Bitch, you're a volunteer.
They were not being very nice to somebody, and I had to take care of it. I'll say this much: they weren't being this person. This has nothing to do with Torg. This person was not being very cool, and they were not being very cool to my wife. And of course, I'm going to take that personally, and they took care of it promptly and with high satisfaction. And so thank you guys. Thank you to Mike for helping take care of that, because, you got to treat people with dignity and respect, and that's one thing that Torg does. They have a lot of people coming in there. They know that, you can't satisfy everybody.
Facts.
I heard that there was one person going, well, there's not enough to do here. Well, that's on you.
Go home.
I mean, I'm not a tattoo person. They had tattoo artists there doing tattoos. That's cool. I don't have a tattoo on my body. I think that's the coolest thing in the world that they actually had somebody there doing that.
Right.
I think, they did the best with what they had with the facilities they had. And I'll tell you what, next year it's just going to be mind-blowingly fun, even better than this year. And I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. So
probably have to take a week vacation and come up there for that one.
Oh, heck yeah, you do?
Yeah, me and Shane were talking about doing that possibly next year.
I mean, heck yeah, get yourself a table, man. I mean, I know you could, you can sell and become one of the vendors there, and.
No, see, I wouldn't sell. I would just go up there and hang out and check it out, man. That'd be one. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That'd be one I'd like to go just hang out.
Well, the unfortunate thing was because I bought 3 VIP passes. I got one for me. No, I'm sorry. I got 1 VIP pass for me. I bought 2. I got one for my son, and then my best friend, my brother Rick, he was going to be coming too, and he was actually going to be operating the camera. And so that way I wasn't doing it myself.
Right.
And he's had a lot of problems with kidney stones lately, and the night before we go down, he ended up in the hospital. So now I have his VIP, I got my son's VIP, Lynn was getting in VIP for free, so that's okay. So I'm like, I was going to try to get a refund, and then
I seen your video.
It didn't happen. So what did I do? I gave them away to 2 people in the crowd.
Hell yeah.
So, and that's the thing.
So what was the VIP tickets? What was the perks of the VIP tickets there?
Okay, you get in an hour early. Now, I'll be honest. Is an hour enough time? No. And here's why. There was a long line for people to get in for their VIPs. So even
by the time you're the last VIP in, your hour's already pretty much gone.
Yes, by the time the last VIP was in, it was about, I want to say 9:30, 9:40. So I think that if you have VIP registration, they should allow you you should be able to line up at 8:30 or even 8 o'clock. Get your lanyard, get your bag, get your goodies, and you have to still go back outside and wait. And then at 9 o'clock, when everything's ready, they allow everybody in. That way everybody's coming in at the same time and everybody's getting equal opportunity. That's just me. Right. I don't know if logistically it's possible, but I think that that's what they should do. So, but yeah, you got that. You got a bag full of goodies. There's the bag right here.
Nice.
It's a nice little bag, I mean, if you want to
something to tote around and carry stuff in.
Yeah. I was mistaken. I thought a shirt came with it. Shirt does not come with it. So, but you got a cool lanyard that had. It might either have Torg Man on it or Torque Man. There might have been one out there that had their other mascot, the Hoarder,
Mm-hmm.
which I still never got pictures with those guys. And I was like, but you only have so much time.
Oh, I know.
And then you got like, I think there was like a stretchy bracelet, and there was a pin and a couple other odds and ends.
Okay.
Some people might feel that the $40, I think it was a good value. Especially if you're getting in an hour early to check things out.
Right.
I think that if they're not going to let people come in and get get all their stuff before 9 o'clock, so that way they ought to give you an hour and a half to come in early. So that way that extra half hour is your buffer.
Yeah.
So that's just me, and that's not for that's any. Any play.
That way, your very first people in line, they get that little perk. If it's in VIP hour and a half, they get in a little bit quicker than everybody else because they were the first ones in line. So, you get that little bit of extra time versus the guy who showed up in the VIP at the end.
Exactly. I mean, the parking lot, it was actually, I'll be honest, it was actually kind of difficult. My GPS, because it was at a building over by somewhere where the Ohio State Fair is done, and my GPS, I used two different GPSs, my wife's and mine,
right?
And we used two different ones, and it was getting confused on where to go. And you had to go through one parking lot and go down through another parking lot, and then you had like this little area, and it was a little confusing.
Right.
So maybe it won't be so confusing next year. Is that Torg's fault? No, not Torg's fault at all. It's just where the building was.
Yeah.
But like I said, no complaints from me.
I've had that with a lot of conventions and shit I go to, though, especially a lot of them that are down here that are in like big convention centers. It's not really like they're just like, this is where it's at. Good luck. And then you really just have to find where you're parking. Where the fuck do I park at? Because I'm not from the city, right? So I don't do city shit much. I'm a country boy. I like a parking lot I pull into, I park, I get out, and I walk to the building. You go out to Atlanta out here at some of these conventions, and it's like you got to park, 5 blocks away down here in this parking center, pay $20 to park for the day, get out and find your way back to the convention center, and then, oh, wait, no, you're on the wrong side. You got to go around the building to the other side, and then get into the building that way, walk through the whole fucking building just to get over to the room that the little convention's in. Like it's some of them get a little confusing for sure.
Yeah, and they had some great guests. Of course, the immortal John Hancock was there. I subscribe to his channel. John is very knowledgeable. He definitely knows his stuff when it comes to the history of video games. He has, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's 12 complete collections or 9 complete collections. Damn. I forget. And of course his video game museum is finally going through. He's been putting this thing together for a long time. It's been a logistical nightmare for him. So they are getting that put together. I can't listen. It's like this. I'm not I want to go to the West Coast kind of a guy, but when the day comes that museum is open, or if I can at least go that first week, I'd love to come out there and take that trip. I would love to.
Yeah, we need to plan that out. We need to plan that out too, because I can tell you that.
I've been told by some people, you don't need to go to PGRE. You just, if you've been to this convention or that convention, you've said, sometimes it's just like, somebody go, well, if you've been to Japan, you've been to China. Right. No.
Yeah, no.
No, it's two different cultures, two different countries, completely different. That's like saying if you go to Canada,
what's
you've
the
been
biggest
to America.
one you've heard of so far, though?
The biggest one I've ever heard of is PGRE.
How many days is it?
I think that I want to say it goes over. I want to say they start on Friday and go through Sunday, but I'm not sure. I know there's a couple that go 2 or 3 days, and I think that's one of the big ones.
That's what I was going to say. We got one in Atlanta, the Southern Fried Gaming Expo. And it's not like a sales convention per se. It is more of a fucking expo. Like they have everything. So they got all the guest side rooms. They got like a huge tabletop area where you can just grab something off their library and sit down and play it. They have a vendor area. They have a museum area. They have a PC museum area, which is really neat.
Oh, cool.
And it's over 4 days, I believe. Now it's up to like 3 or 4 days. But at night, like after the big show, they have like one night they have like adult comedy. So like you go down to the room and it's just like a comedy show. And then one night they have wrestling in there. So they have like a whole ass wrestling ring set up, and it's like a straight up fucking, 2-hour wrestling match going on, and like that's the convention to go to down here, man. Like if you got time, and it's not even a convention, it's a fucking straight up expo. But like if you've got time and you're down here in the southeast area at all, southeast area, are close to Georgia, period. Like make the trip out for Southern Fried Gaming Expo, because that's the one to see. Huge pinball, free play arcade room. I think that last time they had over like, I want to say like 500 or more machines in there, arcades and pinball just set up. Come on in and play.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get involved with him if I can. I know the guy that runs it. His name's Shannon. Really cool guy. I hit him up anytime I got any questions about like our little convention stuff that we do. I'm like, hey, what would you do in this situation? You know, and they're always really nice about giving their advice. You know, being a huge ass thing like that, it's nice to have somebody to give some advice.
Yeah, I think you know, some of the bigger ones I wouldn't mind going to. I know that there's another one. Gosh, where is that one? I know there's another one on the East Coast someplace that's always real big every year, and I can't remember the name of it.
So you got
right
some
now.
up north in Syracuse, New York. They have some really big ones up there. A lot of them that I don't really know about because I haven't branched out that far, because it's just like, fuck, I'm never going to get a chance to go. But I know they got some big ones in Texas as well. Texas has some really big ones.
And I know that Phoenix has a pretty big one as well. I've heard that one's really big. I know, I've heard of some big ones out there in Texas. I've only been to 3, and that was this year. And so far, you know, CAG, which was in North Olmsted, Ohio, or AKA Cleveland, which is like right on the outskirts of Cleveland. And you know what? I was there by myself, and I had an absolute blast. I was a little intimidated at first,
right?
Because I didn't know what to expect. And it was a little smaller, but I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a lot of fun, and I don't know the comparison to how many tables CAG had by comparison to say Torg, but they had a lot of room, and there were a lot of tables and a lot of different people there with a lot of stuff, some cosplayers there too, and I was really impressed with it. Nice. And CGC. My best friend went there with me, and we were kind of like, eh. And I was talking with, I won't say specifically who, but there was a vendor there who did very, very well. And and I said, well, here's the difference. You know, he said there were a lot of people complaining about how hot it was, how crowded it was, and that's just because of, like I said earlier, the IX Center was under construction, and next year they'll have a lot more room. And I said, I'll give it another chance next year. Yeah. Because I have a feeling that, but here was the problem with CGC in Cleveland. And they, according to what I was told, they merged, because it's the Cleveland Gaming Classic. It merged with some huge toy classic or something. Ah, okay. So, yeah, so you had 70% of the tables there.
All toy shit.
Was toys and stuff that had nothing to do with either toys. I mean, there was somebody selling incense. There was somebody selling tasers, and I'm going, see, I understand what...
That right there is why you have to vet your fucking vendors, man. Like, I'll be damn, you know, we run a show, you know, we run a nice little show down here in Georgia. And I tell people, like, I don't mind you having cool shit, right? You got games, you got toys, you got collectibles, you got something pop culture related. Pop figures are fine, like that kind of stuff, you know, just something along those lines. But I'll be damned if I'm going to have a fucking flea market vendor out there selling their Chinese tasers and fucking that bullshit, man. Like, no, that's stupid. I mean, no incense. Like, what the fuck does an incense booth have to do with anything gaming related? You know, have an art person. Pick somebody who makes shit and put them in that spot, you know? Somebody who makes clocks, you know, gaming-related clocks. Or, like, etches glass with, like, gaming-related stuff. Something cool like that.
It would be one thing if they had 2 or 3 tables and they had this stuff over there. It's like, I've also got this stuff, too. I know it's out of place, but I've got this stuff, too. But I'm here for the gaming stuff. It's just like, yeah, man, you want some cool smelling lavender incense? Woo! No. Get the fuck out of here!
Exactly.
But I said though, because I literally spent, I want to say I spent $10 10 whole bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another guy I was going to go back and get something, and it just got so busy and so hot, we were just like, let's go get lunch, get the hell out of here. But, he said he did better at that convention than he did anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has a lot of toys and stuff like that too.
Right.
And that's great. That's great from that perspective. But from my perspective, this isn't something just for you, the vendor. You are inviting the public to come there, and he knows that there needs to be more games there for the Cleveland Gaming
right.
Classic. Not the Cleveland Toy Classic,
right.
the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Okay? And you have to have the room there so that way people aren't going, bumping into each other and wondering what the hell's going on. So maybe the Cleveland Gaming Classic next year will be a little more gaming focused. If you want to have toys and stuff there too, I get it. You merge it, but you should rename it to Cleveland Gaming and Toy Classic so that way you're not going, where are the games?
Exactly.
The year before,
rebrand it.
The year before they had 2 tables. The year before, 2021, they had 2 gaming tables. That was it. The rest was all toys.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it wasn't even there. It was actually, I was told it was actually at a hotel lobby someplace in downtown Cleveland. So I guess it was a real, forgive me for saying this, it was a real shit show.
Right. It happens.
And I know, and especially, we were just coming out of COVID at the time. I get it. Next year, I'm hoping for much better. And there were a few things that I was looking for. I didn't get to actually, but there's a couple things that I found that I was like, okay, yeah, I can grab that, and I can grab that. I spent a whole $10, $15, and there was one dude, I don't know. All right, there was one guy. He had a lot of real high dollar items, a lot of holy grails and stuff, and everything was locked in cases, except for he had this one little bin.
I love those cases. The case vendors, those are my favorite.
He had this one little bin that had Lynx games and 3DO games, and they were all in plastic cases, and that was great. But everything else all locked in cases. Musha, things like that, everything locked away. This guy had the holy grails for people, and I hope he sold a lot. I really do.
He probably did too. A lot of times, like they put that shit in those cases, that shit goes. Like we had, it's kind of funny. I say it sold at our show, but we had a guy had a stadium events, loose copy of stadium events for sale for $35,000 in a case at our last show, and it sold. It sold online. It was an online bidder that bought it, but like it was still cool to actually see it like sitting there and then walking back by there and seeing the sold sign on it, and I'm like, hold up, that fucking sold here? Like $35,000? Like Jesus Christ! Like that's crazy.
I think Brandon had a photograph from when I looked at some of his pictures, and there was a
the graded one
that they had there. Yeah, the graded one.
$92,000.
$92,000. Wow,
yep. $92,000.
I mean, I guess if you're that much of an enthusiast and you've got that kind of money,
if you want it, you want it.
But even if I had that kind of money, listen, if there was a graded one of these, and the guy who played, if David Hayter signed it and brought it to my house, I still wouldn't pay $92,000.
No.
I wouldn't pay I wouldn't pay $900. I would not pay $9,000, but maybe $900.
Yeah,
David Hayter was going to come to my,
I mean, now I'm not gonna lie. I paid $800 for a fucking stack up complete in box for original Nintendo for my black box set. But I just, again, as we talked about earlier, I literally just took shit out of my collection, sold it,
traded it in,
sold it to people, took that money, bought something else I wanted to put on the shelf, so it all comes full circle. If you got a good enough collection to do that shit with. I told a buddy of mine at work that, I was like, he's like, well, how do you have all this extra money for stuff? I'm like, well, I don't. He's like, well, how do you buy all this extra shit? I'm like, well, I have collateral. Like, I have shit on my shelf that I can literally just take and pop online and sell it in like a few minutes, or maybe it take like a couple days at best. But like if it's something I really want and I don't really need this, fucking sell it.
Heck yeah, yeah. Oh, I have. Matter of fact, this stack right here. That's stuff I'm getting ready to get rid of just because like that Godzilla's in this. As a matter of fact, there's 2 copies of Godzilla. There's the PS3 copy and there's the PS4 copy in there.
Yeah, that's the money one.
I have Celeste unopened from Limited Run Games in
Nice.
there with the card and everything. And there's a few other things in there that I'm never going to touch them. I'm never going to play them.
Yep.
Let somebody else who's just like really excited about it take it. And that way, if I want to take it and like I want a Vectrex.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Vectrex.
Nice.
Because
Shane totally sold one of those not too long ago.
Dude, that is my holy grail. I was talking to Bill Tendo. Remember Bill Tendo?
Yeah.
From a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to him at Torg. What a lovely guy. Just, I mean, it's great talking to him online, but just, he's so funny, and he's such a, he's, Bill,
he seemed like a really genuine character.
He is a genuine gentleman.
Nice.
And then, when he met my wife, he was just, very nice and very cordial to her. My hat's off to him. Bill, I love you. You're fantastic. But, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I don't have any holy grails. And all of a sudden I went, yeah, I do. I want a Vectrex. So if anybody has a Vectrex out there you're willing to part with, for real cheap, or you want to donate it to the game closet, I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to take it off your hands.
Do a nice video for you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because I may have told this story before, and I'll just give you like the 5-cent version. 23 and a half years ago. Matter of fact, around this time, 24 years ago, this time, I got one in the mail. I had bought it from eBay, and I got it fairly inexpensively, and it was in beautiful condition, had a couple games with it. And then my wife and I, we were pregnant, and we fell on, and we had only been married for like, since July at that time. And this is my ex-wife. And so we were having our first child, and then we fell on some hard times. For just a short time, I got laid off. And I was like, all right, I'm going to hunker down and sell a few things. And I have 2 car payments to pay for, and insurance and rent and all that stuff.
Right.
I had the Vectrex for less than a month and had to sell it.
Ugh.
And
that
never
hurts.
got another one.
That shit hurts.
Yeah. Now, is it like it's a problem? No. But, that was 24 years ago. And
True.
There was one on Marketplace about 3 years ago, and I came this close to getting it, and it sold like minutes before I got my hands on it. Do I need it? No.
No. Do you want it? Yes.
Yeah. This stack of stuff right here, if it goes, but dude, Tony, there are people who gouge too.
Oh, for
and
sure.
There was a
100%. 100%.
There was a guy that I saw him at CGC, and I saw him at CAG just the month before.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of boxed items and stuff like that. And, that's fine. I don't want it boxed. It doesn't have to be boxed. As long as it works and is in fairly good cosmetic condition, I'll be happy with it.
As long as it looks decent.
But this guy, he was outrageous on his prices. Even for some of his stuff. Like, he had a Vectrex system boxed. And the box was beat to shit. And he wanted $850 for it.
Jesus.
Going, what universe? A Vectrex should be going for $350 to $450 right now. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. And so, in what universe, is this, and this guy's looking to get rich off of this stuff.
Yeah.
And guess what? He had it at the first convention I was at. He was at the
have it at the
expo.
next 4 until it gets down to that price range where somebody's going to buy it.
There were some people that I saw at Torg that I went, yeah, that guy's way too expensive, and that guy's way too expensive. And I know if you're gonna buy a few things, you can say, hey, can I bundle this? And there were a couple really nice vendors.
Yeah, willing to do the bundle deals.
Yeah, and I said, hey, can I get this? And I get this, and they knocked like $5-10 off, and they did. And there were some people like for example, that if you saw the video that I just posted, I got that iMac. And when the guy said, hey, I'll give it to you for, make me an offer. And I'm like, I don't even know how much it's worth anymore. Because I used to have one back in the day.
Right.
But I don't know how much they're worth. I know how much it costs to ship it.
Yeah, exactly.
It would cost, if you were trying to buy one right now and ship it to anywhere, it's going to cost you $40 to $50 to ship that son of a bitch.
Just because the box has got to be big enough and protected.
Yeah. And I got it for less than $50, but I was taking a chance because it didn't have a power cord. He said, I promise you, the guy I got it from promised me.
Yeah, right.
Says it
Dual
worked.
promises over here.
Yeah, dual promises. He goes, for the price you're about to pay, I'll just tell you, it was $40.
Right.
He said, you know, a friend of mine said, $30 would be a little better for the risk. And maybe I should
Not
have offered him
wrong.
30, but that's okay. Not wrong, no. So, but yeah, but this guy was wanting to get rid of stuff. He wanted to sell stuff. He did not want to reload his truck. And kudos to somebody who is there to make a deal. And he's not there to give away stuff either. But there you go. You had somebody come by and just, I'm just curious,
Well, I mean, the same
maybe an
situation happened with me in Alabama when we were on our way back from vacation. We stopped by this flea market in Alabama, walking around. I found a couple game things and like a couple little game booths that people had in there. But we were walking by this outside table, and dude had the PlayStation 3D TV sitting out there on the table with a pair of the 3D glasses, right? Had a power cord and everything with it, and I'm like, well, shit, that's cool as fuck. How the random ass spot in fucking bumfucked Alabama run across a PlayStation 3 TV, and like in my head, I know that's like a $150 TV sitting there. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey man, what are you asking on your TV? And he's like, I'd like to get $200 for it. And I mean, I bucked immediately. I could tell he knew by my body posture. There's no fucking way in hell I'm paying $200 for that thing sitting out here in this flea market in Alabama, And I just had bought this Xbox backpack and shit, so he knew I was a gamer. I'm sure I had a game shirt on. And he's like, well, I started to walk away, and he's like, well, make me an offer on it, man. It's just business. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to offend you at all. I said, I'm going to have to not make you an offer on it. He goes, no, dude, seriously, like, just say a number. We'll see where we're at. Maybe we can make a deal. And I'm like, dude, I was like, I wouldn't pay you no more than $50 for that thing. I said, just because I don't think I have room in the car for it because we have all our luggage that we're going home. I said, and B, I don't even know if it works. I said, $50 would be the most I'm willing to pay for it. And he's like, let me make a phone call right quick. And he goes over and like acts like he's calling somebody and shit. And he comes back and he's like, could you do 100? And I'm like, no, dude. I said, honestly, it's either $50 or I'm walking away without it. I said, that's it. And he's like, all right, just hurry up before I change my mind. So I walked away with this fucking PlayStation 3D TV for $50. Got it home. It works just fine. I've got to get a battery put in the glasses, but other than that, like, sure, I'll take that for $50, man. Like,
Heck
so
yeah.
it's really like, and honestly, I did not want to even offer him the money for it because I didn't know if I could take it home. And I was, again, I'm the kind of person I don't want to offend people. Like, I don't want to piss people off. I mean, I will, at the same time, I don't care, but I'm like, it's business. So it's like, $50 is all I can give you, man. It's like, I kind of felt bad saying it, but he was just like, and then he took it. So shit. I mean, if you don't put it out there, you never know what you're going to get.
Well, you and I were talking about the PSVR recently. PS4, PSVR.
Ooh. Speaking of, I'm sorry, before you mention this, I do have one more little piece of news and we're done with fucking news. But
yeah,
No Man's Sky has officially announced that it will be supported in PSVR 2 at launch. So you can play No Man's Sky in PSVR 2 at launch.
Yes. Interesting.
That's
so
nice.
You'll actually be able to take your PS4 disc that you had originally.
They didn't say that.
And
they didn't say that specifically.
Okay, no.
But it will be, the game itself is supported at launch. So I don't know if you have to buy a new copy or if it's going to be...
Buy a new copy, maybe.
Right. Maybe if you have like a PS5 version of the game, it would be supported for the VR2 because I don't know if the VR2 is going to work on PS4. That's another thing I have not found out yet. I don't know that. I think you may have to have a PS5 for that.
From everything that I'm hearing, it is not backward compatible. You have to have PS5 to run the PSVR 2.
That sucks for a lot of people.
And none of the games are backward compatible either. That's why I was going, No Man's Sky is going to be the only one. But like you said,
there's no backwards compatibility on the games yet at all. And I think there's only like 13 titles that are actually going to be available for purchase at launch.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, you see, you and I were talking about that, and now that I know the difference between the Model 1 and the Model 2 on the original PSVR, I saw a couple of different ones on Mercari and on eBay, and I haven't checked out Marketplace yet. And then another buddy of mine said, he actually told me this. He said, because I saw one for $110, and I saw another one for, and I'm like, but there's really nothing to play on them. So there's two games that I'm interested in. Two. Well, technically three. I'm interested in Doom 3
Yep.
I'm interested in
Doom VR is pretty badass.
Yeah, and then oh shit, I can't. There was the Batman one. There was a Batman
Oh yeah.
Arkham something.
Yeah, that one's pretty neat. It's
You
it's more
know,
like a detective kind of game versus like an actual like full blown you're playing as Batman. You're kind of just doing like a couple detective missions, which is pretty neat still. Because you can definitely go
right?
like you're in the Batcave checking it out. That's pretty dope.
And speaking of Batman, real quick, we will mention, of course, everybody in the gaming community has definitely said, Kevin Conroy, who was the voice of Batman in 3 of the 4 Batman games, and he
Mm-hmm.
was the voice of Batman in the animated series, and he was Bruce Wayne, of course,
Yep.
in the Batman Forever and a couple other odds and ends here and there and movies and stuff. He passed away this week.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was cancer. And of everything I've heard of this gentleman, especially from a person that I am acquainted with who lives in Australia, he was in a live stream and he actually met Kevin Conroy a couple times or once and spoke with him. And he said he was quite the gentleman, very nice guy.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, he passed away this week. So, rest easy wherever you are, Mr. Conroy, and thank you. Thank you for being the definitive Batman.
Right.
As much as I like Michael Keaton, and as much as I love Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer, and of course, the late great Adam West as that version of Batman. To me, you are the ultimate voice of Batman. You were the ultimate Batman, and thank you for everything you did. But back to the PSVR, not to make light of Kevin Conroy at all. So I have there's the Star Trek Bridge Commander, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I'd like to play that. I heard that was very, very good on VR.
It
So
was.
I have some people on one side going, if you're going to pay $110, 150 is like, okay, but I'm seeing 110,
Yeah.
something like that. Then I got another buddy of mine going, like you, $50 is the most you want to pay for that piece of shit. And I'm going, well, that's a little harsh. As he goes, there's nothing to play on it. And I'm going,
There's definitely stuff to play on it. Now I will kind of buck on that. There's a lot of good games on there. I've got actually a pretty good stack of games myself, but again, you can play No Man's Sky. That is a fucking killer game. If you get motion sickness at all, figure out a way to get around it because that game will definitely bring it on. When you're jetpacking around in a fucking VR headset, when you're either sitting down or standing up playing, that shit gets me motion sick. That is a really good game though. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is supposedly a really good game. I hadn't got a chance to play that one yet though.
did they ever come out with that Lindsay Lohan party girl vomit in the toilet game? I don't remember if they did.
What the fuck?
I was thinking, with all the motion sickness that you would get, and you get to actually experience being Lindsay Lohan. I think that would be kind of fun, especially considering that, not only are you vomiting in the toilet, your career's in the toilet, you get to see
you
it all
are
in
Lindsay
glorious
Lohan
VR.
vomiting in the toilet.
Did they ever come out with that game? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe on VR2. Maybe
VR too. You really want to get
Got to get it. Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan
Get all the 4K
experience.
that way you can see the corn and the vomit and everything. It's not just pixelated vomit.
Lindsay, if you are watching, because I know you're home doing nothing right now, my wife says if you pay me $50, it's okay. So there you go.
But no, honestly, on my take of it, I have the VR, I have the PSVR. I'm definitely gonna get the PSVR 2, even though it's just as much as a fucking PS5. Freaking $399, ridiculous pricing. But yeah, I definitely want the upgrade for that. Like, it's gonna be better than the Quest 2, just in the capabilities of it, because it's your PS5 running the headset. It's not any processors in the headset. So your headset's gonna, it's a lighter weight headset. You don't have that processor box like we talked about how you have the version 1 and version 2 of the original PlayStation VR.
Oh,
There's
so
no
it's going to hook
processor
directly
box.
up to the PS5?
It goes straight
or
to
is
your
it all
PS5.
inside the headset?
It goes straight to your PS5. Your PS5 is actually doing the processing for the games. So it's a lighter weight headset, 4K lenses on each eye, apparently. So it's going to be, amazing quality. They're going to be able to run, once they start making Unreal Engine 5 games for VR, you're going to be able to run Unreal 5 on your PSVR headset. So
Interesting.
that's going to look cool as shit. Like, I just feel like it's definitely going to be a thing. And if you've got the extra 100, 120, 30 bucks to spare for the VR, the original VR, go for it. That way you can get that immersiveness with it. Like, I'm really curious as to how the new controllers are going to feel, being that they look more like the Oculus controllers versus the stupid fucking motion sticks that PlayStation has. To me, that's the worst part of the PS1 VR, or the PS VR, I'll call it. Is the move sticks that's got the stupid little light ball on the end of it. They don't feel natural. Nothing feels natural about it when you're playing with them. The button placement on them is not good. So like, you know, that versus the Oculus controllers where it's more like a hand grip and you've got two triggers, and when you move your triggers on the Oculus, you see your fingers moving in the Oculus, you know. So it's not just
neat.
It's not just your hands doing this in the game. Like, each individual trigger on the Oculus controls. So like, when you put your thumb on the thumbstick, you see your thumbs moving in the game, or if you move your trigger fingers, like, you see these hands moving. So it actually gives you like that more of an immersive, like, grabbing feel versus like your hand just and that's it. So
okay,
the PS Move controllers are the worst part about the VR, in my opinion. So once they get away from that in the VR2 and they go to those new Oculus style controllers, I got a feeling that's going to get even more immersive and even better. I just want them to start making games where I can look down and see my fucking body, and I don't have a floaty hand going out in front of me that's cut off at the wrist. At least give me up to my shoulder where I can look and see an arm or something. Like, that's where the immersiveness really cuts me out of it, is if I look down and I'm just like a floating head, you know, or like I've just got two arms floating out in front of me and just holding guns. Like, it just cuts me off of the body. Like, I want to, that just takes away from it.
Yeah, it's a wonder that they have it like that to begin with, because if you're playing any, say for example, first person game, and you have, just for example, when I was playing The Darkness here about a month ago, and you had those dual guns. Hell, even playing Max Payne. No, Max Payne's third person. Never mind.
Yeah.
But even like with The Darkness or whatever, and I was playing with the dual guns and stuff and shooting, I could see my arm all the way up here.
Yep.
And then it cuts off on the edge of the screen. So I mean, why wouldn't they be able to do the same thing with VR? But at the same time, you also do have the ability to do this and look down. Whereas if you take your sticks and look down, in a normal third-person game, you can't see your feet usually.
Right.
So it's not like you can, oh, hey, here's my arm,
And there are some games in the VR that actually, you do have a full body, and if you're walking, you'll see your legs moving. And there's one really cool game, Farpoint. It's called Farpoint in VR.
Yeah.
That comes with a gun. And the gun's really awkward itself and clunky, but like, it's really fun to play with, because in that one particular game, to change your weapon in the game, so like, you'll have the machine gun out. To change your weapon, you literally take that VR gun, you stick it behind your back, you pull it back out, and then in the game it changes to the shotgun, and then it changes back to the machine gun. So that shit's really neat. Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to think, there was another one. No, that was Oculus, where you actually have in Oculus, there's games where like, you'll have your pistols on your side and you reach down and grab your pistol. So you'll pull it out, shoot, and then you put it back in your holster, and then you reach back here and grab your machine gun and pull it out. So that shit's pretty cool. But that was really neat in the VR with that gun. Like, that's how you would change your weapon, just throw it over your shoulder and come back with it, and it was, the machine gun. So
that is kind of cool, but at the same time, I think I would want an additional control where if I wanted to hit, just for example, if I wanted to hit the triangle button, where it would just swap it out for me, because I know with VR...
I think it had that feature as well, because on that move, on the gun controller, it's got a full array of the buttons, like on your thumbs around here. It's got like all the different directional buttons. It's got two sticks to where you can, like, you will move your character around with your sticks. And it's got all the triangle, square, circle, and buttons on it. It's just really awkward to fucking find them, and you really have to learn the controller before you get in, because it doesn't show you, like, when you're in VR, it doesn't show you on your gun that the triangle button's over here. So you just have to know that that's where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, you see, that's where, like, with VR, I enjoyed the Wii and the Wii U sometimes when, like, the only game that I really enjoyed the motion controls was Mad World.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did like it a little bit for, I think it was, I forget which, there was like a Luigi's Mansion 3 or something, one of the ones that wasn't on the DS. I can't remember which one, or maybe I'm thinking of the Switch or something. But the motion controls for Mad World didn't seem real gimmicky. Like if you're going to take somebody and you're going to throw them up against a wall of, or the rose bush as they call it, a bunch of spikes
Right.
and stuff. You just did it. Or if you had to, take a stop sign out and like gouge somebody with it, you could. Although I always wanted to try Manhunt too,
Mm-hmm.
because I heard that if you're going to strangle somebody, you actually use the cable to do it.
That'd be sweet.
So, but at the same time, sometimes I don't want to exercise when I'm playing a game.
Right.
I don't want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to do this.
Just sitting. Yeah, that's where I have a lot of hard time with VR as well, because like I am a very sedentary gamer. Like I've been sitting on my ass playing games for a long fucking time, so it takes a lot to get my ass up moving around to want to do something in a game. So like a lot of these games, a lot of the quest games, it's really like you really do have to stand up and play that shit. Like I see my son playing Gorilla Tag all the time, and to move around in Gorilla Tag, you physically have to swing your fucking arms like a gorilla. Like you're reaching and you're grabbing and you're pulling yourself along. So like he's in there just fucking, and like he'll come out with pouring sweat, and I'm like, yeah, that's not my kind of game. Fuck that.
I guess to play devil's advocate with what I just said then, and then what we're talking about, if you are not in the mood to play something that has that much interaction, a game that is that immersive,
Right.
then you shouldn't be putting the headset on to do it. Then just go play your PlayStation or play whatever.
And then so devil's advocate here. They also have games in Quest 2 that are PokerStar VR, to where you're literally sitting at a fucking poker table with 7 other people and you're playing poker. You're playing Texas Hold'em, or you're playing blackjack or craps. So I mean they do have those games to where like I can literally sit in my chair at my desk, and then I can have the desk feeling in front of me like the poker table. So like I can just reach up and bam, grab my cards and flip them in the game and just sit there and play with people. So you have you have that games where you can just sit on your ass and play like that, or you have that like motion games like Beat Saber and that kind of game.
Maybe that's something that wouldn't be a bad idea to put on the box. Not kind of like a rating or hey, this is up to 2-player or multiplayer, but if it just tells you one or the other, or maybe 3 different things, you could say either A, this is a completely motionless game where you're just sitting there doing whatever.
I see what you're saying.
Versus,
like when you're buying the game, they have like little icons down at the bottom corner. You could have like a chair, or you could have like a guy standing there with his arms up in the air or some shit. Like, this is a motion reactive game versus a sedentary game.
Fully immersive motion game versus just a chair sitting type of game, or you might even have one where it's a little bit of both. So it could have like a plus symbol with both. Because I don't know about that Bridge Commander. I've never watched a video on it. I did see like a quick review one time, but it was just like I started watching.
That one's more of like a you can move your character around with a controller and get to where you want to go kind of thing. You don't have to walk per se there.
Okay.
And that's another thing too with like a lot of the walking games. You're not physically like walking through your play space to get anywhere. Maybe, I mean, a lot of them, yeah, exactly. A lot of them do have the thumbstick, so you're walking with your thumbsticks and stuff like that. One of the games I played to actually make your character run in the game, you did have to swing your arms like you're running. So you're standing there, or you can play the game sitting down, but you're forward on the thumbstick to walk forward, and then arm swinging to run. So I mean, there's different levels of that as well. So it's really neat to see where it's gonna go in the future for sure. Because I mean, obviously, if you're corded in with a headset like with PlayStation, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of motion stuff. Because I mean, even moving your arms around, if you got that cord and you catch that fucking cord just right, and then pull that shit out. Oh my god, you let me break a $400 headset, I'll be pissed.
That's where if I was trying to change guns and did that, but now in my head I'm seeing like Ben Stiller or Jim Carrey or something like Mike Myers. I can see like a movie where some this is my twisted head, where somebody like that, their wife, their girlfriend, whatever, they're coming home, and there's this guy. He thinks that he's had the whole house to himself all day, and she's coming home early from work, or maybe she went shopping, or she's gone on a trip, and the trip got cut short. He's playing a VR game, but he's doing it in his underwear or naked, And then all you see is just her walking in the house. He just bought this new thing. He's sitting there going, "Yeah, I gotta run." And he's like freaking, he's in the nude. Can you imagine that? Just to be like her walking and going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I'll do you one even better. I was scoping out Steam last night, checking out some games because I finally got a half-ass decent PC that I can play some shit on. So I was just kind of looking to see what games are out there for sale.
Yeah.
And there's straight up VR porn games. Like, I'm talking full-blown insertion. Full-blown, pun intended. Like, literally grab her head and shove it down. Like, it's... Wow. I'm showing my wife and my buddy. I'm like, y'all check this shit out. I'm not just seeing this. I'm not on some weird website. Like, it's not... Like, this was literally on fucking Steam. It's down in there, and it's just like... There's like 4 or 5 different titles that you can get, like new releases, new content. Like, I'm just like, wow. And it looked pretty cool. I'm not even going to lie. It looked pretty good. I was like, damn. All right.
Okay. The curiosity in me wants to go, all right, let me see this. I got to see this. But then the holy shit, where have we gone to in me is going, holy shit, where have we gone to?
No, do it. Just go with the first one. Go on Steam, log in, and just look in the library for it. You'll see them, and it'll show you a quick little trailer on it. Like no censored, no bullshit. Like it's all full blown in the trailer. You can see everything that you can do in the game, and that was all I needed. I'm not gonna pay $40 for it. But
Steve was alone on a Friday night, and then all of a sudden he had a Steam account, and then $40 later. He was naked.
Yeah, and then he gets walked in on.
What the hell are you doing?
I just found this game, Mom.
Thinking about you, sweetheart. Yeah.
Look, I made
Her
this
name
character.
Is Miranda as well.
I made this character look just like you.
Yeah. And now we know what Lindsay Lohan's going to be doing next.
Yes.
So,
that's what she's doing right now. She's working on her motion cap for it.
Lindsay Lohan's OnlyFans page. Yeah, there's like one person there.
One fan.
As an ex-boyfriend.
One fan.
Yeah, one fan. Oh, I wish I'd never broken up with her.
I guess I'll just pay on here for it.
Anything else news-wise?
I had nothing, man. It's been a slow week actually. It was looking like I seen some stuff in there. What Insignia drops on Tuesday?
Yes.
Insignia Xbox Live drops on Tuesday. I have absolutely nothing ready.
I don't have anything ready, but I got the cable coming, and I used to have Splinter Cell, but I don't have it anymore.
I think I've got it still.
Until this week. So I did get another copy of it. It cost me a whole $7.
Yeah.
So
if nothing else, I'll just steal Shane's shit, and he can do mine.
I mean,
that's one of the perks of living so close to each other.
Am I going to do this like right off immediately? No. But maybe something where I'm going to be like, okay, somebody's going to walk me through this because I'm
no. My thing is like I'll get it on and play it for like about a day or two, and then that'll be it for me anyway.
I would be very much looking forward. I mean, I can play Halo 1 on Master Chief Collection, so that's not a problem. But I'd be, I don't know what all the 15 or 13 games or 12 games that are going to be there at launch. The whole list, but I wouldn't mind checking them out. You know, I mean, I'm sure I have.
It'd be interesting being able to play that with people online and being able to chat with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, headset. I don't think I have a headset that would work with the original.
I think they're still pretty cheap right now.
I'm trying to remember. I would have to get my controllers out and look.
I know. I don't even remember what plugs into them anymore. It's so weird.
I don't think there was a plug for it, was there?
I think it goes into the back of the actual console.
Into the back of the back of the console. Was it USB? So. You remember?
Maybe. I'd have to pull my console out and look at it. It's been so long now.
It's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, we just had one pulled out at game night too. We had an original Xbox out there playing Halo.
I mean, I know mine's out there covered up. I have an actual Xbox cover for it. It looks like the actual Xbox.
Yeah, it's like a vinyl cover.
Yeah, and I have 3 or 4 like that. I've got my Dreamcast, and I've got my Nintendo 64.
My fucking PlayStation 3 is so dusty. I haven't turned that thing on in ages.
I do need to open up my one PlayStation 3 and clean it because, but the other one, like Shane and I,
this
when
one's
we were
definitely gonna need
talking. a couple weeks ago we were talking, and I found the website that I want to get the one reballed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to forward that to Shane because the service is like so. All right, guys, if you have a PlayStation 3 that has an overheating problem or keeps shutting off, and you know that you got your yellow light of death or whatever, there are definitely services out there that will reball it for you. There's this website. I will, if I can find it and get it to. I think Mark usually uploads this,
Mm-hmm.
cuts it up and uploads it. I will try to put this in there. There's this one service that's not like any other. Not only do they guarantee it, but they will also offer a warranty for an extended period of time. I don't know.
Nice.
It's like so you can get it for like 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, something like that. But they actually show you the balling process. No, they're not just taking it and wrapping a towel around it and throwing it in the oven or something like that. They're actually opening it up, and you actually see they have the machinery actually removes the chip.
Mm-hmm.
They clean the board off. They
New
clean
thermal
off the
paste, all that
chip.
good shit.
They redo everything. They reseat the thing and everything. So it's and I think it's only like $89.
Not bad.
And then of course your additional warranty for a year, beyond the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I would get it for a couple years just for the heck. Why the heck not? Depending upon how much it was. So I will try to remember to put that down there in the for the comments. If I
Link in
can
the
remember.
comments.
Link in the comments. But if you have a PS3 that's been sitting there and it's just now, I know they do the the PS3 Slims as well, but I'm talking about I have the original Fat 60 that I bought
Nice.
originally.
That
Original
good
system
backwards
back in the
compatible
day.
one.
I have two like that. One is sitting on this shelf, and then I also have one that's the 80 gig one that
Mm-hmm.
has the I have to download the patches and stuff for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That one was having a problem. It shut off on me here a couple months ago. I'm going, what the hell? So I went and got my good one out of the other room.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if that ever happens to any of them, I will ship it off and get that redone because it says on there, if you found a $20 PS3 60 or 20 gig system that was at a garage sale or somebody had under a bed and you paid $20 for it, we can turn that into a $300 system like that.
Oh, right, exactly.
And
that makes me feel bad. I never did pick up those ones. We found some at flea markets, but they had been sitting outside. Like, I couldn't tell if they'd been rained in or not. And I'm like, they still wanted like $60 a piece for it. And I'm like, dude, the thing's been outside for how many months? Like, in this drawer over here. Y'all didn't even know you had it. Like, $20. They're like, no, we'll sit on it.
There are videos out there so you can actually tear them down and clean them out, and it's surprising how much stuff is in the bottom of those things. And when I got my replacement one, the first thing I did was I opened it up, and it was funny because this apartment building I was living at the time, I didn't want to like blow this stuff off and we didn't have a balcony. I didn't want to blow this stuff off into my living room.
Right.
So I took it out, I blew it off into the hallway, into the main hallway, and then I vacuumed it up later. But yeah, I completely cleaned that thing out, put new thermal paste on it, and it ran cherry right after that. And it's not that difficult to do. You just need some space, and you need to make sure you don't get your screws mixed up. That's why you keep them in that
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing is all the different damn screws in there because it's not a one size fits all screw like the damn Nintendos.
No, and it even if you screw it up, and you're like, oh crap, I don't know what's what. Just watch your video backwards.
Exactly.
And like, this is the one that goes here, and this is the one that goes there. It's really not that difficult to do. It really isn't. I mean, I'm a technically minded person, and I was just like, okay, if I can pull apart a 1999 iMac and put a brand new hard drive and new RAM and stuff in that,
nice.
I can do this. And so it's not that hard to do. So other than that, that's all I got for this week. I mean,
that's about all I got as well. Having little camera issues over here, keep popping in.
So I'm hoping that I wasn't, because I've heard from a couple of our cohorts who actually tuned in that I was echoey for some reason. I'm not detecting it. Tony's not detecting it.
I don't hear anything on my end.
If I was, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do.
Fuck it. Nobody else was on. We took care of the shit tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we run into our problems just like anybody else.
That's
Hell,
right.
Even Gary from Nerdrotic has his problems beforehand, but I'm sure that he has people, that he can pay to make sure everything's running smoothly. But I also know he's using StreamYard He's not using what we're using because he's not going on Discord where we are. So we want to catch you guys who are on Discord as well.
That's
so
right.
That's why we're doing
Catch everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate all you
So-
guys. Everybody in the chat tonight. We had old Game Frank pop in and said if he knew we needed some help, he definitely would have filled in tonight. So
Oh man, that's
I know.
Yeah,
I wish I knew ahead of time. We'd have got his ass right up in here.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. We could have had Game Frank here. Any of our past guests, if they're free, and if we have a free spot,
Yep.
you can always chime in. And I know, like I was on another podcast this week, a Doctor Who
Oh, yeah, I seen
podcast,
that.
and they had an extra opening, and I'm like kind of like a semi-regular occasionally, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to be on.
Nice.
So yeah, maybe we should start, keeping some of those names handy just in
Hell
case
yeah.
we have an extra spot. We can always get either Game Frank or Bill Tendo or
Yeah, we definitely want to
Rob
wish
Mann or
everybody
something like that.
get better in health. Jay Malone, hopefully get better sooner. Brandon, definitely get better
And-
sooner.
And before we go, because I was going to talk about a couple of the other guys that I met at Torg, I did get to meet Jay Malone there. And
Yeah.
Jay, if you are watching tonight, definitely hope you're feeling better, buddy. And it was a great pleasure meeting you. You're a gentleman. Thank you for coming to Torg and just taking the time to talk to us.
We'll
for a
definitely
couple
get you on the
minutes.
podcast in the future too when you're feeling better.
Absolutely. And we
I'd
hope
rather you
that
not
you're-
be here and be, or what is it? I'd rather you not be here and be miserable, or shit. I don't know. Get better. It's one
I'd
of those-
rather you not. I'd rather you not be miserable and be here.
Yeah.
Than, yeah.
Not be
So-
here and be something. Whatever. Get better soon.
I mean, because Jay, if you're sitting there going, I don't want to be on this podcast, then you're not having fun. We want you to have fun.
Exactly.
So talking about games and other stuff. So anyway, I guess that's it for tonight.
That's
right?
it for me, guys.
All right. Hey, have a great week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our duo podcast here
That's
on
right.
the Game Junction, and we will see you next week.
Peace out, guys.
I wonder if it's a setting or something that I had because I was fucking around beforehand. Let me. Yeah, I don't hear anything. Interesting. Well, there's been some nights where Shane has been, where Brandon has been, and when we don't know why. So that's kind of weird. Stop recording. There we go.